Brockman's bald head is shining like a full moon.
Gentlemen, get ready for
The Rich Eisen Show.
Love it. Love it.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
I played in the Pac-10 and now coach in the Pac-12, and now it's going to be the Pac.
The Rich Eisen Show.
We'll see. But the longer-term implications, no one has any idea.
Today's guests, Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, Super Bowl winning head coach Bruce Arians, ESPN College Gameday analyst Desmond Howard, and now, it's Rich Eisen.
Okay, everybody, welcome to this edition of The Rich Eisen Show. We are here live in the home of the Big Ten, Los Angeles, California, right here on this final Tuesday of August in 2022. Yeah, lots going on. Let's just come straight. Lots going on in the world of the NFL up the coast here. In Santa Clara and San Francisco, California. We'll be talking about that throughout this edition of The Rich Eisen Show. Kurt Warner, my Pro Football Hall of Fame friend, is going to be joining me in 19 minutes' time. The former Super Bowl, I guess you're always, once you're a Super Bowl winning coach, you're always a Super Bowl winning coach. The former coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians, BA, will be on this program. The over-under on the number of curse words he's just going to blurt out has been set at 1.5.
Good line, Rich.
Yeah, 1.5. I'm taking
Good
the
line.
under. Oh,
That's a
God,
good
am I
line.
taking the under? Oh, gosh, that would be great. And then Desmond Howard, one of my favorite human beings on planet Earth, will be joining this program. He came out earlier this weekend and said his Final Four, his prediction for the playoffs in college football is Baylor, Pitt, and Michigan and Texas A&M, with Texas A&M winning it all, meaning outside of Bart Starr, there are not one but two Super Bowl MVPs from the world of the Packers who might be on something.
We're smoking on, bro. Let me get some.
I mean, I can't wait to ask Desmond what's going on with that. Same thing with nobody being on the campus here at DirecTV, and then there's always somebody blowing leaves right behind me as soon as we start the program. I mean, literally no one's here until we're here. YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show. We say hello to you once again live here. Our live stream is here for the moment, and it will be on Roku starting in September. Will you stop, sir?
I love that guy.
Go! There are no leaves here. There's no people here. Let alone leaves.
Oh my gosh!
My God, we come to work in some sort of apocalyptic haze where we're the only human beings left.
And now,
Yo,
Sorry.
we've been here for 2.5 years.
I'm sorry. I'm 53 years old and I got a lot of S going on.
Yeah, buddy.
show enough.
All right. How are you, Chris Brockman? What's going on?
Someone just called me Johnny Sins in the chat, so I'm doing pretty well.
I'll tell you what. There's worse things to be called, my man.
Shout out if you get that reference.
I don't know what you're talking about, actually. Good to see you over there, Felly. How are you, Jay Felly? What's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
And then TJ Jefferson, how are you, sir?
I'm waiting for someone to call me Shawn Michaels, and in either world, it'll be good with me.
Very good. Very, very good. Don't forget your mother's watching. Okay. I got something here, too. I don't know what's going on, man. All right. So here's the deal, folks. Bet you didn't think I would start the show with this name. Cam Newton.
Oh.
Cam Newton. Starting the show with Cam Newton. Okay, he did not take the Patriots to a Super Bowl, and he didn't take the Patriots close to a Super Bowl. But what he did do was take this team and bridge that team from Tom Brady to the next quarterback, and that would be, as we all know, Mac Jones. Because the Patriots drafted Mac Jones after re-signing Cam Newton, after Cam really took one on the chin for the Patriots franchise. You never want to be the guy after the guy. You want to be the guy after the guy who was after the guy. That's Mac Jones in New England. That's who you want to be. You never want to be the guy after the guy. And Cam's like, I'll be the guy after the guy. And, you know, as a matter of fact, I'll look terrific in the first few games here and then get COVID and then not really look the same after that. But I'll still come back for you. That's a spot that I kind of dig and you kind of dig me. And then all of a sudden you go and draft the new kid. And then that's the end of that with me and you. Because when you draft the new kid and you believe the new kid is your kid, and you draft the kid in the first round of the NFL draft at the quarterback position, and you're ready to hand the offense to that player, you get rid of the veteran on the staff who might be sitting there waiting and saying, where's my turn? I have had my turn here. You've now taken my turn away from me for this kid.
Bingo.
And you also don't want the kid doing this, like I did with the leaf blower moments ago. Like, what gives?
You scared him away.
Thank God.
Well, I told him I don't need to be looking over my shoulder. Get out of here.
Right.
I've got a job to do. And I don't need to be looking over my shoulder.
Even though he couldn't see it.
So I set that in front of you to set the table for the fact that this is Trey Lance's team, the San Francisco 49ers. It was going to be his team the minute they traded all the draft capital in the 2021 NFL draft in Cleveland, Ohio, to go all the way up into the third spot behind the Jaguars and the Jets, who the Niners knew were going to be drafting a quarterback and assumed it was Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, and they were correct. So it was any other quarterback, not named the two of them. There was Mac Jones, there was Justin Fields, and there was Trey Lance. And they went ahead and they took the kid out of North Dakota State, who had a terrific year 2 years prior. Didn't play but one game in 2020. And so it's the 2021 draft. And they took him because he had a huge upside and had a cannon for an arm and a great neck up and legs that could run for days. And in the offensive Kyle Shanahan's offense that Jimmy Garoppolo was running to the point a couple years prior, taking the Niners to the Super Bowl and having Emmanuel Sanders on a on a post pattern wide open to try and take the lead on the Kansas City Chiefs late, and he overshot him, got hurt, and it was apparent for this team that they were kind of done with Jimmy Garoppolo and figured he had hit his ceiling, and they saw some kid in the draft and an opportunity to go get him, and they got him. And they still kept Jimmy Garoppolo last year because they had the ability to do that while giving the kid who really needed more seasoning time to sit there and watch, and he got a couple cups of coffee at starting because Garoppolo does have trouble playing every single game of the regular season. And decided to give Trey Lance the gig this year. It was time. It was time for Trey Lance to get the gig, and they gave it to him to the point where when training camp began, Jimmy G, who had shoulder surgery this offseason, was medically cleared to go. Not only was he medically cleared to go, and the team didn't put him out there, according to reports over the last several weeks out of the Bay Area, out of Santa Clara, they offered him the opportunity to be traded. They gave him a shot to go look around the league. And as a matter of fact, not only can you go ahead and try and find a trade partner of somebody who can, go ahead and wants to take you, but you could also talk about salary with that team. So you could figure out, not only who wants you, but you could figure out your contract, because we know that that's a very important part of the equation. And they couldn't find anybody. And then he shows up in late July. He's medically cleared to practice. And not only does he not practice, they tell him, you don't even have to sit in meetings, and he didn't. And not only that, they didn't even give him any updated practice material. They put him 4th on the depth chart. And on August 9th, I've got the date right here. On August 9th, Kyle Shanahan was asked, why is there a 4th quarterback on your depth chart named Jimmy Garoppolo? And he said, if he's on the depth chart, it's because he has to be. That was the quote.
What?
If he's on the depth chart, it's because he has to be, is what he said. So, if Santiago finally got the chance to leave the island, right, then why wasn't he packed? Okay? If you said he's not to be touched, then why was he touched?
Why did he need to be transferred off the base?
Right. So I have been sitting here saying that this is Trey Lance's team, and the Niners say it's Trey Lance's team, and it's definitely Trey Lance's team. He's going to start in 12 days in Chicago, Illinois. He's going to start. And when you start a kid like this, there are going to be ups and downs. And if there's nobody on the roster, number 2, sitting there who went to the Super Bowl a few years ago and almost took you to the Super Bowl last year, then he won't be looking over his shoulder saying, if I screwed up over the next couple weeks, if I just screwed up this game, are you going to bench me? Am I going to be benched? And when you're looking around the locker room, seeing, oh, I know that guy loves Jimmy G. I've seen it. I know they love Jimmy. Are they thinking less of me? Because Jimmy's sitting there. Now he's sitting there because today's cut day. Today was supposed to be the day that we've been talking about, that Jimmy G would be made available, and the 49ers did an okey doke and turned around and kept him. And Garoppolo said, okay, took an $18 million pay cut. $6.5 million is what he's going to get, fully guaranteed. Now, with incentives, he could make $16 million as opposed to the 24, and there's a no trade clause, so he can't be traded, and there's a no tag clause, meaning at the end of this year he can go wherever he darn well pleases, and his cap number is reduced. That helps the team. He becomes the highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL, which helps the team, because if Lance gets hurt, who can come in but a guy who is well versed on everything, right? So that makes sense to do that. You know what also makes sense to do that as well is if you cut him, he could wind up in Seattle. He could wind up on your rival going against you in week 2. Don't want that either. So how do you avoid that and also have a more than competent, viable backup in case your kid gets hurt, as he did, by the way, when he started against Arizona last year? You got Jimmy G. Makes total, complete sense, football sense in terms of having the guy backup that you love, that the team loves, and can take you to the Super Bowl if necessary. And you keep him away from your rival. It doesn't hit you very hard on the cap. All makes sense. Except there's one last reason why you keep him. Because the kid isn't ready yet. And you are hedging your bet. And if you're hedging your bet, you can bet the kid is smart enough to sense that and will start looking over his shoulder. So to bring it all full circle, last year, Bill Belichick knew if Mac gets hurt, boy, that next step's a Lulu, even though I can't quit Brian Hoyer for the life of me.
But he's not your starter.
And, yeah, it's a good cap move, and Cam won't – there wasn't any risk that Cam was going to wind up with, like, the Jets or the Dolphins, right? Or the Bills. So there wasn't that issue. But Bill knew there's no reason to have a guy here that my kid is going to look over the shoulder wondering about. Kyle Shanahan, boy, does he have his work cut out for him here. Boy, does he have his work cut out for him here. And if there's anyone who can handle it, I think he can. I don't think this is fatal. But this is not the way I saw Trey Lance being birthed into the NFL, sitting around for a year, then getting the gig, then having the guy behind him available for trade. Fourth on the depth chart because he has to be on the depth chart as of August 9th. And then by August 30th, you're like, stick around, Jimmy. We need you. And Trey Lance better have the thickest skin possible because there will be downs. There will be third downs and long that he doesn't convert. There will be first downs and 10 that the easy throws that we saw in the preseason, the routine throws need to be made. He doesn't make because he's new at it. It looks like the Niners are kind of playing this by half measure. They will not take the lumps. That comes unless they are willing to do that, and they will really sit there while Lance struggles and the fan base is howling. And Kyle Shanahan is going to have to channel his inner Coach Dale from Hoosiers and point to the floor and say, those are my guys on the floor, and then wave his plan, his game plan, in his leather satchel at the fans saying, I believe in this, and my guys better believe in it too. Because keeping Jimmy G opens that door, the dreaded door in the NFL of doubt. The dreaded door of doubt exists in the form of Jimmy Garoppolo being kept on this roster. Makes sense in terms of having a competent, capable, more than that backup at a smart price that keeps that guy away from your rival. Makes complete sense. The question is, did that outweigh making sure Lance doesn't have the door of doubt? Unless you have that doubt too, and it definitely outweighs the fact that you better have somebody to put in there. And at what point does Lance's struggles look? At what point do Lance's struggles gain so much traction in the fan base and are too glaring to continue on with? Because if they put in Jimmy G because Lance needs a blow, needs a break, needs to look at stuff, that's where first-round draft choices, third overall, get broken in this NFL. He better have a thick skin, and I know Shanahan does. I know Lynch does. I know the York family does. Man, does that make the 49ers. Remember, I had my top 5 most fascinating teams enter 2020. I didn't have the Niners on it. I need a redraft.
I'm going to put up a poll, Rich. Which QB starts more games this year? I'm going to go Jimmy G, Trey Lance, Deshaun Watson, because we know he's going to start the final 6, right? Or Geno Smith.
Nicely done. At Rich Eisen Show. Let's take a break. Kurt Warner is going to join us on this program. I can't wait to hear how he thinks this is going to work. How does it work? How does it work? Having Jimmy G there for an injured Lance, brilliant. Having Jimmy G there if Lance falters, what happens to Lance then? How about them apples? Jimmy G in the role of Aaron Rodgers and Trey Lance in the role of Jordan Love. Didn't see that one coming. And the Niners, I'm sure, pushing back saying that's not the way it's going to work. Tu salud. Can't wait to see that. And I would love to see Lance just light it up. And this is a totally moot point because I have been Team Lance all along. And the Niners say they are too. This is a hell of a hedged bet. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. I'd love to hear from Niner fans. That's for damn sure. And everyone else. Bruce Arians, I can't wait to ask him how he thinks that's going to work too. Kurt Warner when we come back, my Hall of Fame friend from the NFL Network and Westwood One Radio. We're streaming in September on the Roku channel, everybody on our YouTube stream sitting out there in the 457s in the chat room. Greatly appreciate it. We love that you're watching us here and that you've been enjoying us on our YouTube stream. Our YouTube page will still be filled with all of the videos from daily shows as well as our library, over 28,000 videos over the almost 8-year history of this show sitting on our YouTube page at youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. We're also going to be back on Sirius XM radio starting very shortly as well. Can't wait to update you on all of that once, we made the decision to move on from our longtime partner in Peacock. There was going to be, if you will, in this business, moving parts, and we're still moving, but we're here every single day, 9 to noon Pacific, 12 to 3 Eastern time, and we greatly appreciate everybody out there. But once we're on Roku, all Roku devices, select Samsung televisions, Fire TV, and then the app, the Roku app, they all have the Roku channel on it for free. And you can go to the RokuChannel.com and also watch us online for free. That's the best part about it. The RokuChannel.com, the Roku channel, any Roku device, Fire TV, and select Samsung televisions as well. So that's coming. That's right around the corner. We will get you an exact date. And then new spots to find us on Sirius XM as well.
What was the price on that, Rich? I didn't hear.
Free, $0 and 0 cents.
$3.99.
I mean, if as well as euro. I don't know how you want to whatever
pesos,
whatever. Well, yeah, whatever your favorite denomination is, it's zero.
Ducats.
None of it.
Cash.
None of it.
Rubies.
So that's the way we're rolling here on the program. Our terrestrial radio audience, thanks to Westwood One and the Cumulus, the friends at Cumulus. Cumulus also delivers our podcast into your ear gate every single day through the Cumulus Podcast Network, where all podcasts can be acquired. Hit that subscription, if you don't mind, that subscribe button to be part of our RSS feed. We'd greatly appreciate all that. We're still there. We're still here. We're here, you're there. Bruce Arians will be joining us shortly on the program. And then there is also one of my favorite humans on the planet, Desmond Howard, in hour number 3 as we turn our attention to college football as well. So we're here on our YouTube stream. Back here on our terrestrial radio outfit, 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on the Rich Eisen Show. He's my Hall of Fame friend. NFL Game Day morning coming your way 2 Sundays from now at 9 a.m. Eastern time, getting you ready for the bulk of Week 1 activity. We're also on the air 1 week from tonight with the NFL Game Day morning annual kickoff program. So it'll be me, Mooch, Irv, and Kurt Warner once again back here on the Rich Eisen Show. My Pro Football Hall of Fame friend on the Mercedes-Benz van phone line. How are you, Kurt?
I'm good, man. How are you? Let's get this thing going.
Right.
College football this weekend, and then we start the NFL, man. I'm excited.
Okay, let's jump right into it. How does it work with Jimmy Garoppolo as the backup quarterback in San Francisco, do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously the 49ers have been very adamant since the end of last year that Trey is the guy. I think they have to continue to make sure they stress that to their guys when they have an opportunity that, hey, this is for the best of the team, but Trey is still our guy, because I think we all know, Jimmy has had success. Jimmy has done some really good things in that locker room. And so anytime you have a young quarterback that's probably going to go through some growing pains, it is very easy to look over your shoulder, especially what I look at with this team. They're a really good football team. Like, this isn't just a team that's rebuilding and is a couple years away. This is a team that I believe everybody thinks can compete for a championship if they get good quarterback play. And so that's the other piece to the puzzle. I mean, I remember when I was in New York and started, and they went to Eli, and Eli was the guy. And even though I remember, guys coming up to me all the time, like, why aren't you playing? We had a chance to get to the and so that's the kind of stuff that you really, really have to fight against. And it's not going to be anything that Jimmy does. Jimmy's going to be a great teammate, and I believe he's going to help Trey Lance as much as he can. But it's just natural. If things go against them early and they feel like they're a better team than where they're playing, or the young guy isn't playing up to what they need him to play at to be competitive, that's going to be a tough thing to fight. And no team wants that, where the locker room is divided and there's murmurs about who should be playing, and not even a knock on Trey Lance that he won't be the guy long term. It's just simply the idea that who's the best player for us right now? Who can help us win right now? And I think that's going to be the temptation and the hard thing, and why it's going to be so important for the organization, every opportunity they have, to go, we know Jimmy's here, and we understand he's but he's not our guy. Trey is our guy, and we're committed to Trey. And it's going to be important for the organization when there are struggles from Trey to be confident in going, hey, we're going right back to him. Another example, when I was in New York, we played against the Ravens. Eli really struggled. They put me in. We did really well, almost came back in that football game. And I remember going to Coach Coughlin saying, Coach, you have to go tell the media right now that Eli's our guy. We're going back to Eli. Even though they put me in and they knew, they wanted to put me in to help us win a particular game, that they were still committed to Eli. And those are the kind of things that this organization, I believe, is going to have to do, because they have a quarterback that took them to a Super Bowl, that was on the cusp of another Super Bowl, and guys in the locker room know him really, really well, that's going to be a temptation if out of the blocks Trey Lance doesn't play extremely well or has some really big bumps in the road.
Well, I mean, again, Kurt, if you're John Lynch, the general manager, and you're Jed York, the owner, and you're Kyle Shanahan, the coach, and you look at your roster going into the season, and you've got Nate Sudfeld backing up Trey Lance, or you can have Jimmy Garoppolo backing up Trey Lance, you're like, Jimmy Garoppolo. And there's certainly if the choice is, well, it's Nate Sudfeld backing up Trey Lance, or Jimmy gets cut and he winds up on the Seahawks. I mean, okay. Yeah. No, absolutely we're keeping Jimmy Garoppolo, but this is not just anybody. As you pointed out, it's a veteran who has a lot of people in the locker room who adore him for many obvious reasons. Can you give me an example again of how somebody in the locker room of the New York Giants, when Eli was there and you were there, that came up to you and said, why aren't you starting? Can you put a little bit more meat on those bones? Because that's the real stuff that could be happening in San Francisco in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so when I started the season, we started 5-2. We lost a couple games, and that's when they made the move to Eli. But even when they went to Eli, at that moment in the season, we were actually a playoff team. Even though we were only 5-4, we were a playoff team at that moment. And that's what these veteran players see, is they understand every year is important, that these opportunities don't come around very often when you're on a championship caliber team, and especially some of these guys not knowing if they're going to be on that team beyond the year. So they want to take advantage of every moment, and if they have a chance to get into the playoffs, because how many times have we seen that? I'm an example with the Cardinals of teams that kind of sneak into the playoffs, aren't great teams going into the playoffs, and then they go on a run and they win a championship. And so guys understand that can happen. And so they just want those opportunities, and they want to play well. And so that's what we were dealing with in New York. And I had to be the one that, kind of told these guys, hey, I hear you, but this is about the future, and this is about building towards what they would ultimately build towards in winning 2 championships with Eli Manning. But I had to be the one that was kind of the buffer for the coaches at times, even though I wanted to be playing, and even though I felt I was the better player at the time. And so it can be a very awkward situation. It could be very awkward for Jimmy, as he's got buddies that come up to him and say that. What do you do? How do you handle that as a backup quarterback? And then, as I said, you never want guys walking into the huddle and kind of second-guessing the situation, with their young quarterback, because they've got somebody on the sideline that they think is a better quarterback at this point in time. And so it's a tough situation. It is the reality of it, and you mentioned it. I mean, I would rather have Jimmy on my roster for insurance. I would rather have Jimmy if Trey struggles for a half and we want to put Jimmy in and we believe he can win a close game for us. I'd rather have him there as well. But there is a dynamic there that is going to be very interesting, especially, again, you got to remember, I was only there for 1 year. Jimmy's been there for a couple of years and knows these guys and is close to these guys. So that's a whole nother dynamic, just the relationship they have off the field that is going to be, a natural thing to come up. So it will be interesting and fascinating to watch how this plays out, how the 49ers deal with this. But those things are natural part of human nature, and especially, like I said, because I went to training camp and watched this team. This team is a really good team. I mean, we know what they were last year, but they're a really good team if they get good quarterback play, and that could be a point of frustration for the team at some point this year. And again, we're saying, not that Trey Lance has to go out and struggle. I mean, this young kid, go ball out and and have a year, but I just think we're trying to make that argument that if he does have some struggles, that's going to be part of human nature and the dynamic that they're going to have to muscle through.
My Hall of Fame friend, NFL Gameday morning compadre, and also voice, along with Kevin Harlan of Monday Night Football on Westwood One, Kurt Warner, here on the Rich Eisen Show. So again, as we've established, if you can have Jimmy Garoppolo as your backup and he takes the pay cut to make it happen, check that box. And you also keep him from maybe winding up on Seattle or another team that can stand in your way when you get a chance to win the Super Bowl. Check that box. But there's no question that this is a bet hedge in case Lance falters, right? Whether you point out like it's a second half of a game or something. So
I would argue, Rich, that I think they did it. That's a great fallback, is that he's your backup. I would argue just simply that the fact that there wasn't a market for Jimmy and Jimmy wasn't healthy, that I would not be surprised if they trade him fairly early in the season if something were to transpire, whether it be Seattle or anywhere, where there actually becomes a trade market, because that's a way, again, to...
Well, he's got a no-trade clause, Kurt, so he'd have to say yes to that, too, and so...
But Jimmy's... I just don't believe Jimmy, especially, if he's signing a one-year deal, would rather sit on the bench in San Francisco than play anywhere. So if he's getting traded, he's probably getting traded to play, and I would argue... I want to go play. I want to show people I'm healthy. I want to show people what I'm capable of doing, and I want to earn the next spot. So I think Jimmy would be happy to get traded anywhere, that wants him at that point.
Sure.
But I think that's kind of, we're surprised that there's absolutely no market for Jimmy Garoppolo, as good as he's been. Let's re-sign him, and we have that, insurance policy. But I think the bottom line is if something happens on one of these teams, they're going to look to move him really quick, and that will help to squash some of those things that we've been talking about.
Well, I guess that was a big wind-up that I had to ask you this question, and it kind of dovetails into the response you just gave, is that if Garoppolo does get traded and he agrees to get traded and he does get traded, then clearly then they will have seen enough from Lance in the regular season prior to the trade deadline to feel comfortable going ahead and doing that. So if it is a bet hedge, in a way, against Lance's ability to get to a level to take this team to the Super Bowl, which we've already established in this conversation they could do, what have you seen on film that clearly Shanahan and Lynch and the rest of the front office there have seen in the preseason that gives them a bit of pause to say, okay, we can just go into the season, it's Lance's gig, ups, downs, the whole bag of, the whole schmear, we're willing to deal with it. What's on film?
I mean, to me, it's lack of consistency. And the first thing we always have to remember is that he didn't play a lot, really over the last 3 years. And so I can, again, liken it to my situation where I played 1 year in college. And playing 1 year in college, you don't get to see all the situational football and come to understand how to manage every situation like you do when you play year after year after year. And so when I got cut in the NFL and went and played in all these other leagues, I got to experience all kinds of situational football that made me more ready for when I came back with the Rams later on. And so that's one of the things is, his lack of consistency through different situations has been one thing that I've noticed. There's some things from a technique standpoint that to me need to be cleaned up, or it's going to be tough for him to be consistently accurate. And then it always comes down to decision-making at the quarterback spot. Being able to see the field and understand what you're looking at and work through your reads and progressions quickly. Those are all things that we've seen moments from Trey Lance, but we haven't seen consistency. It doesn't matter if you look at last year when he played. It doesn't matter if you look at preseason. There's a lot of ups and downs with him just in the normal course of playing the position. And so, those are the things that I saw in college. Those are the things that I'm still seeing now. And the question always becomes, how long will it take for, these guys to show us what they're going to be at this level? And will those, consistency issues continue to show up not only this year but throughout his career? Those are the questions that I'm looking to get answered, because I've seen very similar things in each of the stints that he's played, college last year and in the preseason.
So then I guess it does. I mean, man, it's just going to be fascinating, Kurt. Like, Hoskins, can you put their schedule up, please? I'm talking to my CP about putting the schedule up here because it is. I guess, does it matter how fast they start, right? I mean, and in that regard, they're at the Bears. They're home for the Seahawks. At Denver, home for the Rams. That's the first 4 weeks. I mean, you got to figure they're going to give Lance all the ups and downs no matter what as long as he's healthy the first 8 games, right? They play the Rams twice in the first 8 games. I'm just wondering how it goes, right? I mean, there's no plan for it. You've got to have a feel. Clearly, Shanahan is terrific. So he knows his offense. He'll probably know pre-snap what needs to be done, and if it's not done, he'll notice it on the spot. Obviously, he'll look at the film, too. I just can't wait to see this play out. I mean, what's your sense of it, Kurt?
I think it really does come down to, do they feel he's that guy or not?
They got him.
Now,
they drafted him. They went ahead
you don't have to. I mean, you have to think at the time when you draft him he's going to be.
Right.
But now being with them for 2 years, and they made the commitment to him. But really, I mean, we can say a lot of different things, right? Okay, we know we drafted him. We gave up a lot. We've got to play him. And so we've got to come out and say, oh, he's the guy. Like we've seen it. He's got all this. But inside, those guys know if they believe that or not. And so that, to me, is going to be very telling with how the season plays out. If they truly believe he is that guy, and they've seen what they've seen in practice and on a daily basis and his leadership and all that stuff, then I don't think it matters how many ups and downs he goes through. Even if this year becomes a throwaway year as a team, I think they stay with him all year. If there's parts of them that inside – are saying, we're not sure. I'm not sure this is the guy, and here's why. And then they go through half the season, and all of those things in their mind continue to show up, like, it's what we thought, it's what we thought, it's what we thought. That's when you have to start going, okay, can we step away from this guy that we gave up, all these draft picks and everything for, and A, can we go back to Jimmy Garoppolo, or B, do we need to go somewhere else if Jimmy's not there, whatever. But that, to me, will be the telling sign as we watch this season play out. If there are those bumps in the road, that how convicted is the organization that they made the right decision and he will be a long-term starter and championship-type quarterback for this team, because I believe that's what both Coach Shanahan and John Lynch are looking for. That's why they made this move, when they had Jimmy Garoppolo, is because they don't believe Jimmy is a top 5 quarterback. He can be top 15, top 20, good quarterback, starting quarterback, but not that guy. So that's why they made this move to begin with, because they didn't believe Jimmy was that guy. They need to be convicted in regards to Trey Lance being that guy, or why do you not go and do the same thing you did to Jimmy, going, well, okay, we don't think he's that guy. We got to go get the guy. And so, again, it's going to be fascinating because what people have to say right now. But let's look at this thing 8 games into the season and how he's playing and where the team is. And we'll see if that, that same feeling, and energy towards Trey Lance we've seen this whole offseason is still there with the coaches. I mean, you heard, Coach Shanahan, even after the last preseason game say, like, I wish I could get Trey more reps, but he's as ready as he can be right now. That to me sounds like a coach that's saying, I don't think he's fully ready for everything that's going to come his way. He's not quite there yet, even though season's around the corner. We got to go with it. So, those are the kind of things that I'll be paying attention to from inside the organization.
So before I let you go, Kurt Warner, how much exposure have you had to Lance? Talk to him. How do you think he's going to handle this? What's your gut?
I actually, did get to go to camp and got to interview him at camp and talk to him a little bit and really like the young man. Talking to guys, you really did get the sense that they love the young man, the leadership, his attention to being great. So that part of it, I got no question from anybody that he wasn't the right guy from that standpoint. So I really enjoyed talking to him and felt like, he was asking me some questions and really felt like he wanted to be great. I just think he's a very young guy that hasn't played a lot of football. And so we don't fully know what he can be yet. But I really liked that part of it. And I got that sense that, man, he was willing to do what needed to be done. And they were really excited about that piece that he was in early, and he was talking to even, the Montanas and the Youngs and reaching out to those guys and trying to glean as much as he could from anybody that was willing to give him some help. So I did get the sense that they're fully behind him as a young man and as a leader. Now it's just can the play equal what they believe they have in the person.
All right, Kurt. Next time I have you on, let's talk more about the rest of the league. I just wanted to. Honestly,
we got lost in that one.
No, but this is the story not of just today, but this is now one of the top stories of the entire league. Is that the fact that Jimmy G, after all of this, right? I mean, we talked about it right at the draft that clearly they moved, or before the day they traded up to number 3 overall. It's just like, well, clearly Jimmy G's not the long-term answer there. And yet he started the next year. They almost made the Super Bowl. He gets hurt. He has surgery. They give him a chance to be traded. There are no partners for him. They didn't even give him updated material for practicing in training camp, where they didn't even have him sit in on meetings. And then, boom, he's sticking around. I mean,
you can't make this stuff up.
You
right?
can't.
It's why we love the NFL. There's always these crazy, unbelievable storylines that keep us excited and interested going into the season.
Or maybe Lance goes on a run for the ages and has a movie made out of his life about 20 years from now. Could be that. Thanks. Yes. Kurt Warner said it can happen, by the way.
He would know, Rich. Kurt? He would know.
What do you know about that sort of stuff? All right.
I've heard stories.
Best of Brenda. I'll see you next week.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Take care. That's Kurt Warner, everybody. We'll be on together Tuesday night on NFL Network for the season preview.
We need Kyle Shanahan to come out today, Rich, and be like, this team will rally behind Kurt.
Trey Lance, and we're going to win. Hey, look, and that's one of the many reasons why I love having Kurt on. Does he know about coming from a small school, not playing a lot of football, getting thrown into a situation for which there's really no rehearsal? Does he know about winning a Super Bowl in one place and then showing up somewhere else, and they draft a rookie that they're going to have to turn to, and they turn to him, and the rest of the locker room turns to him as a veteran, saying, why are we taking this? Why are we playing that? I know he's first overall, but that doesn't mean for anything right now.
Right.
Yeah, he knows that. And he said veterans are coming up to him, but God bless him, one of the best human beings on planet Earth. He's the one, after almost coming back and saving the team's bacon against the Ravens, who goes into Tom Coughlin's office saying, you need to go out and say it's not my job right now. I know the locker room. I know what's going on. You need to go out and say it's not my job, and say it's Eli's job. And Garoppolo, by all accounts, is a great human and might do the same thing. And I can only imagine Lynch and Shanahan and the rest sat him down and say, look, man, if you do this, this is the way it's going to be. It's Lance's gig. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. I can't wait to ask Bruce Arians how a coach will handle this. And I bet you he'll be like, of course Shanahan can do it. You just tell one guy this, you tell that guy that, you're a man of your word, and we play football. And we're all sitting here freaking out. I bet you that will be Bruce Arians' answer.
Win or lose, we booze, baby.
Honestly, it'll be, I tell one guy this,
right.
I tell one guy that, I'm a man of my word, and we play football.
Not that easy.
I bet you that will be his answer.
Not that easy.
844-204-RICH, number to dial here on The Rich Eisen Show. Back with more in a moment. You traded up, you were aggressive, and then you could not have been more honest with the way that you were assessing everything. Let's walk into when did Trey Lance have you? Did he have you at hello? Walk me through the process of when you decided this is the kid for us.
It's not just as simple. The first time you see him, it's a slam dunk, yes. And that's what I was trying to explain, that when I looked at him in January, the first time I finished with the tape, I was just, I'd gone through about 4 games, and I collected a bunch of stuff and sent it over to John that night. And I was just so excited and intrigued by the stuff that you could do with him. And he looked the part in so many ways as a quarterback, and then looking into the running element. So I was kind of just enamored with all that stuff from the get-go. And then when you move out to the spot we do, you got such a long process to do it the right way. So the way I felt at the beginning back in January, I'm not going to just sit there and allow myself to be set in stone. I always joke, I drive my wife crazy, but the way I buy houses, I think I like something, but then I tell her every single thing that's wrong about it. I tell the real estate agent, everybody, and then she's almost in tears thinking I hate it. And then I'm like, all right, that's the one I want. Like, how the hell did that happen? And I'm like, I'm just checking myself. And so, like, we loved him from the beginning, but then you got, we were trying to make that trade early February. So, and I think we got it done a little over a month ago, but for about 2.5 months, I'm looking through everything and trying not to jump to conclusions too fast, but interviewing every coach, interviewing every scout, having guys come in. I don't want people in our office to know which way I'm leaning, because you can go so many different directions, and they're all such good candidates. But just to play out the process the way we did, to where I got to know the kid after watching the tape. And that was kind of the coolest thing, to where I really started to like Trey as a person to be the quarterback of your team, just believing in the leader he could be, how much he could soak in, how important it was to him. And I think the best thing for me was if I would have done the process the opposite way. That's what I was trying to tell Peter this weekend. But if I would have done the kid first, I probably would have fell in love with the guy. And then I would have been like, man, do I hope this tape matches that. And it would have. And that's kind of when it's the guy. I did the tape first, which I felt so good about. But, he hadn't played a 2020 season. That's kind of scary. He's at a smaller school. Doesn't have a lot of throws on tape. He's got 300 and something, but that's a lot less than everyone else. So you think of all those reasons that could make you nervous. But the kid made me believe. And you go back to how you felt with what he has put on tape, and then you go with what you believe in the person. And I guess the accumulation of those two things, by the end, it was a very easy decision.
By the way, John Lynch has kindly agreed to appear on the show later this week as well. He's just dealing with cut days and practice squads and things over the next 48 hours. That's all on our YouTube stream, by the way, that you're watching right here. Back here on the Rich Eisen Show, our friends at NetSuite ask you about whether you know your numbers in your business. Because if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Not every business, however, is in the dark. That's because over 31,000 businesses know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and, of course, inventory, so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need all in one place. In 2022, folks, profit is the new growth. So NetSuite helps you identify rising costs, automate your manual business processes, and see where to save money. Know your numbers, know your business, and get to know how NetSuite can be the source of truth for your entire company. So right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program. Head to netsuite.com/richradio right now. netsuite.com/richradio. netsuite.com/richradio here on the Rich Eisen Show. Robbie in Arkansas. Let's take your phone call here on the program. What's up, Robbie?
Yeah, so I'm like a huge diehard 49ers fan.
Okay.
I've been following the 49ers all off season, and I'm kind of on the mindset that Kurt Warner said, this is Trey Lance's team. And I kind of understand the whole concept of not letting Jimmy Garoppolo go so he can end up with the Seahawks. I mean, he's a proven winner everywhere he's been. I've been a Jimmy G supporter the whole time he's been in San Francisco. But, I mean, there is a ceiling with him. The reason why Trey Lance may have looked the way he did last season, a lot of people don't take into consideration the fact that offense was built for Jimmy Garoppolo, not for Trey Lance. And I think that the offense will look completely different this season.
Well, here's the deal, man. You've got a guy who almost won a Super Bowl coordinating the offense with Matt Ryan. almost won a Super Bowl coordinating the offense, de facto with Jimmy Garoppolo. And who knows? He's truly one of the more brilliant offensive minds in the NFL. So, and his hands are just going to be full here, Robbie, with roster, with game management, obviously, and roster management along with Lynch, but also it's going to be ego management. It's going to be locker room management. It's going to be throwing your arm around the kid saying, don't worry, I'm still with you. That's the sort of stuff I imagine, unless Lance just lights it up. Lance lights it up. This whole conversation, this whole entire first hour of this Tuesday, August 30th program of the Rich Eisen Show becomes completely moot. It's just that so few kids with the experience that he has lights it up. Now, the good news is as well, Robbie, is that the roster is constructed where he can light it up. I mean, the line, the receivers, Debo's in the fold. I mean, Kittle, you got yourself a team. You can light it up. He's just got to make the reads. He's got to also make the throws, certainly the easy ones. And then when it doesn't work out, the coach is going to have to manage the situation. And they've had the right guy to do that, too. It's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot of S going on, to use the Tom Brady phrase, with the 49ers,
I do agree. But, I'm super excited about this season.
You should be. You should be. You damn near made the Super Bowl last year, and thanks for the call, Robbie. The question was, what are you going to do with Jimmy G? That was after Debo wanted to get to trade. What are you going to do with Debo? Well, guess what? They kept him. They paid him.
Yep. Had to.
Guess what? They kept Jimmy G, and they're paying him less. And it's Lance's team.
It's a financial win. I just don't know if it's worth the potential.
Again, the question is
shoulder looking over.
On one hand, you have a Super Bowl capable roster, coaching staff, front office team. Okay, that's on one hand. You've got that. You've got also another quarterback that is good enough to take you to the Super Bowl, but maybe you didn't like him long term. But man, could he really save the bacon of a team in your division if you cut him? You also have a Super Bowl winning capable team right here with a backup that's not Jimmy Garoppolo. Now you do. Yeah. Put it all together. He doesn't go to another team. The question is, how do you manage the situation? We'll talk to Bruce Arians about it shortly. That's the conundrum.
Right.
On one hand, you've got the whole damn thing. It could crumble if Lance isn't the guy. And if Lance isn't the guy, what are you going to turn to Nate Sudfeld?
No. That's why you just...
With all due respect.
But that's why you just keep Lance out there. What is this going to turn into a Miami situation where Brian Flores was just shuffling in Tua and then Ryan Fitzpatrick when he didn't like Tua that day?
I don't know what was going on there. I know that's your way of characterizing it. I don't know. There were times where maybe we can win a game in the third and fourth quarter, and then
Jimmy G becomes your closer. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Because Lance is going to have bad games. He might string a few together. Then what?
If there's any coach, and this is a testament to our friend of the program, Jed York, if there's any coach and general manager that seems that can pull something like that off, it's this one. And even this, I can't believe I'm saying this since I've been so pro Lance this entire time. They're halfway through the drafts that they've traded away their first round picks for. They're halfway through it. Okay? Didn't have one this year. Next year's the last one, and then they're back for drafting in first rounds. So they're halfway through it, and they still have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. It's not like
But they don't have anything to show for
They've
it.
effed the picks.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of trophies in the case?
In terms of just any production from Trey Lance.
Well, what I'm saying is, though, is they're halfway through it. And if they decide Lance isn't the guy, then the picks are effed, and they still can turn to Jimmy G, potentially, to keep him.
Well, they would have to pay him.
Or they can go ahead and just say, you can walk and pay somebody in free agency an insane amount of money and try and win just like the Bucs just did. You want to get a veteran? You want to do that? And then you could say, well, Lance is just not the guy, and you do turn him into Jordan Love. And if there's any coach and general manager who could survive that, it's this one too. How about that?
I'm going to make a prediction. I think Rodgers is the Niner quarterback next year.
That could be. Well, I mean, you take a look at Rodgers' contract. If he gets traded,
basically a one-year deal.
Well, I mean, no. If he gets traded or he retires or he's cut, which is obviously never going to happen, the cap hit is so astronomical, I can't even fathom the number. So I think Rodgers is going to retire a Packer. I think when he says that, I think that's his intent, and I think that's what the contract says. But
maybe.
I'm just saying anything's possible right now because I didn't see this damn thing coming.
Yeah. I did not expect that
yesterday. I mean, August 9th, the coach, when he's asked about Jimmy Garoppolo's fourth on the depth chart, what's that about? He said if he's on the depth chart, it's because he has to be. That's the quote from Kyle Shanahan on August 9th. On August 29th, he's like, welcome back, Jimmy. 20 days.
He has to be then because Lance isn't ready.
Or better than Nate Sudfeld.
I think that's obvious.
Don't have to teach him the offense. Locker room digs him, and he's not a Seahawk. Kind of works out that way, too. If Lance plays well, and if Lance doesn't play well, you can handle whatever's going on in the locker room. And I think the coach can do that. Bruce Arians and more of your phone calls at 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Desmond Howard with college football, top of hour 3 here on the show.
The Rich Eisen Show.
Love it. Love it.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
I played in the Pac-10 and now coach in the Pac-12, and now it's going to be the Pac.
The Rich Eisen Show.
We'll see. But the longer-term implications, no one has any idea.
Earlier on the show, Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. Coming up, Super Bowl winning head coach Bruce Arians. ESPN College Gameday analyst Desmond Howard. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hour number 2 of the Rich Eisen Show is on the air. Boy, in hour 1, did we just chop up the whole Jimmy Garoppolo staying with the Niners to back up Trey Lance story that broke yesterday after we went off the air. If you missed any of it, it's sitting there on our YouTube page where many people are watching us live right now. We say hello to our youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show viewers. We say hello to those listening coast to coast on the Rich Eisen Show terrestrial radio network, over 50 affiliates and growing, and we are thrilled about that. We say hello to our Odyssey listeners, and a reminder that we're heading to Roku coming in September, which, if I'm not mistaken, starts Thursday. So in September, we're going to be moving our show. It's not going to be this Thursday. We'll be on our YouTube stream for the rest of this week for sure. And then once we are on the Roku channel, Roku devices, that's how you can watch us for free on the Roku channel. Samsung Smart TVs, that's how you can watch us on the Roku channel for free. Fire TVs, that's how you can see if you get the theme here. Watch us on the Roku channel for free. You can, on any mobile device, get the Roku app. Guess what's for free on the Roku app? The Roku channel. You want to watch us on a desktop. We got so many people when we announced our move to the Roku channel, but I watch you at work, and I'm like, okay, 2 things. 1, the RokuChannel.com will stream us for free, and 2, you're telling your boss you're not paying full attention to your gig. There'll be no waffle party for you. And so nice. It's free coming in September. That's a little severance. You got that one? You picked up on that? Okay, very good.
0.0.
That's how much it costs. Thank you, Dean Wormser. Greatly appreciate that. Chris Brockman, good to see you over there, sir. How are you?
Great to be seen. What up, what up?
Jay Felly with the drops.
Hey, what's up, Rich?
Someone who listens to the show sitting next to us. It's
Isn't that amazing? It is amazing.
It's really amazing.
It is amazing. TJ Jefferson, how are you over there? Oh, my goodness.
What's cracking?
You know what? I need to hear this. Nice. It's like Master Key over there. It's like Master Key. I need to hear this, sir. And I know you don't usually, take things and say it with your chest and whatever. You're very low key. You're low key. You're low key. You're low key. But I want the high key. I want the high key. I want the cowboy fan in you that you used to be when you used to clap back at people. Okay, not the you need to be provoked in order to be clapping back.
Why
at people.
Why you want to start something with me?
I want
I
want the cowboy fan opinion of Jimmy G being re-signed by the San Francisco 49ers as to be the backup. This is the team that one and done you. This is the team that showed up and apparently intimidated the Cowboys in their own house. This is that team that it now has this on their lap, on their plate. You now have the floor, Dallas Cowboy fan, TJ Jefferson.
Okay, if I'm keeping it G real with you as a Cowboys fan,
yes, sir.
I don't care. Here's the deal.
Come on,
let me explain to you. As I've always said about being a Cowboy fan, Cowboy fans usually care about our team. We don't care about anyone else's. So that's how I feel. Now, if you're asking me as someone who sits here and works with you guys and has to have an opinion on this, I'll say this. We always hear about the backup quarterback being so, this is a very important position, especially if you've got a good team.
Yes.
So I sit here and I listen to all this, and I know that there's a salary discrepancy and all of that. But the fact of the matter is you're in a better position having them on your team than not having them on your team. So I look at it as the Niners, it's a problem, it's a conundrum, but I'd rather have that type of problem than have no clue who my backup quarterback is. That's just how I feel.
And
I understand that there's, like I said, issues when, this guy's looking over his shoulder, whatever.
That's where having him on your team is not to your benefit. Having him on your team as opposed to Seattle is to your benefit. Having him on your team in case Lance gets hurt so you don't turn things over to Nate Sudfeld and you still have a chance to win the Super Bowl because you've got a guy who's played in the Super Bowl for you and the locker room loves, that's to your benefit. If it's to your benefit long-term for Trey Lance to work out and Jimmy G's there to make him look over his shoulder or make him look less than because Jimmy G comes in and says, hey, everybody, Niner Nation, hey, everybody in the locker room, veterans who have wanted Jimmy G to start. That's how this can look. It looks much easier when the veteran knows what's what. So that's when it's not to your benefit. And that's where I would think a Cowboy fan would say, well, it's been a while since Dak displaced Romo. We haven't had to deal with this for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. But if that's your approach,
like I said, as a Cowboys fan, that's just as a fan of the Cowboys, not my problem. We got our own issues. As someone who talks about this, that's kind of how I feel. I'd rather have that problem than have a problem where your backup is, Joe Schmo.
Nate Sudfeld.
I didn't want to put him down like that. But yeah.
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush got cut.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Cowboys, one quarterback on the roster right now. I'm sure that'll change.
That's going to change. It's going to change.
Jimmy G?
At this moment, it's Dak Prescott, and that's
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They cut Cooper Rush? Who are they going to sign?
Probably Cooper Rush.
No, they're going to sign that kid Streveler that the Jets are going to cut?
I don't know.
Wait a second. I did not. Was I aware of that? I thought that Ben DiNucci got cut. But you're right. We only do technically have one.
They both got cut, yeah.
What are they doing?
Probably just waiting for the roster.
I think it'll be Will Greer, to be honest with you.
Tyler Smith will start there, too? He's going to protect Enthro?
Apparently, teams are inquiring Pittsburgh about Mason Rudolph.
That could be the one there, too.
But they are not budging at the moment.
That could be that one, too. If Mason Rudolph's available, I would go get him if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, although he doesn't run the same offense that Dak Prescott did. Man. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan as well, I would be genuinely concerned.
How about them Cowboys?
I would be genuinely concerned about the team in Philadelphia. I've been talking myself into the Eagles being the team to beat in the NFC Eastern Conference. I even said when Tyron Smith went down, I'm going to call my shot and say the Eagles are going to win the division. That's what I said. And then today they go ahead and get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the New Orleans Saints. And they flip a 5th next year, and the worst of the 2 6th-round picks in 2024 for a guy who is not only a plug-and-play defensive back, but somebody who I think Philadelphia is going to love because he just can't stop running his mouth. The number of times that he gets hit by an opponent, swung at by an opponent while he's wearing his helmet, means what's coming out of his helmet is so much sauce. I think Philly's going to love him on the back end of that secondary that just keeps getting better and better with the young Bulldogs that they got on both first 2 levels of the defense and the rest of that team with A.J. Brown on it and the way that they run it. It's all on Jalen Hurts there, isn't it? If Jalen Hurts can take that step forward and continue on in the NFL as a quarterback with ascending arrows pointing up, that's another team that suddenly becomes a little bit more fascinating. I think that's a neat pickup for August 30th, to say the least, sir.
I think so, too. Eagles
have a hell of a roster. Howie Roseman's put a hell of a roster. They have been watering and fertilizing that roster. Nick Sirianni's got a nice team in front of him.
Oh, dream team.
No, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Didn't work out for those.
That's
Eagles
not
back
cool.
then.
That was mere days after the lockout ended. And
after they got
different
nominated.
though. This is different though. That was
I
just a
understand.
bunch of
Bunch of
all-star
older
parts
free
from
agents.
that looks like some of my fantasy teams where I'm drafting guys who are great 3 years ago. Oh my God, he's available in the 3rd round. Let me take him.
Right.
That's the way that team was put together.
I know, but it's such a great quote.
Right?
Yeah.
For Chip Kelly, if I'm not mistaken.
Play it again.
Right? Was it Chip Kelly back then, or was it back end or Andy Reid? Who was it in 2011? Who was the Eagles coach in 2011 for the Dream Team?
Oh, dream team.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, man.
2011.
Yeah, do it again, Jay.
2011 Eagles was Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, back end of the Reid administration. Okay.
Yeah, that was his second to last year. Yeah, 12 was his last year.
I don't know. I like the Eagles even more. I like that pickup. The Saints just like here's a plug and play secondary. Remember of our secondary. Let's just send him out.
I drafted A.J. Brown, so I'm also
Okay,
in on
very
the
good.
Eagles this year.
Let's go back to the phone lines here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let us go to Jay in Michigan. You're here on the program. What's up, Jay?
3, 4. Hi, Rich. I just wanted to talk about the whole Trey Lance thing again because I think really what it's about is mostly it's about being able to trade Jimmy. Because really, like the 2 reasons he wasn't traded was because of his shoulder surgery and the fact that he's $26 million on the cap. So I feel like in making all that cap go down, it makes the insurance is like if Trey gets hurt, he can come in. But also that if another team really needs Jimmy, then he's there for them because they couldn't really trade for him at most of the points in time because they wanted other players, or like now they don't have salary cap.
So that makes sense, but he's also got a no-trade clause, so it's going to have to be to where he wants to go, which I imagine would have been the case if, I don't know, he had the opportunity to go seek that out, and anybody who was making these trades for him would have had the ability to figure out what salary he would be paid, and I don't think he would take that pay cut if he knew he was getting traded to a team where he would start. That's not starters money. That's tremendous backup money. So I don't know. I mean, but then again, thanks, Jake, for the call. I mean, who the hell knows? I didn't see him staying coming. So him signing to stay only to be sent out, I wouldn't see that coming either. They made the decision. It's smarter to have him back up Trey Lance than Nate Sudfeld. It's smarter to have him on the team than cut him and watch him show up somewhere that can go hurt you or make your rival better, save their quarterback room bacon. And then you're the coach, and basically you say, Jimmy, if you're up for doing this, you're the backup. You got to help Trey, and if obviously if he gets hurt, you're our starter. And if he struggles, I don't know what that looks like, but we're still not putting you in there. Are you fine with that? I imagine that story could be told to him. But again, the way I started the program, it's really on Trey Lance. It's on his ability to handle it. How will he handle it? And the mere fact that you say you think you can handle the locker room, how can he handle it? You got to have full confidence in his ability to handle it. And the best way for him to handle being the starter is not to have him look over his shoulder. That's why Belichick, in many ways, sent Cam Newton out of there. But Jimmy G maybe is of a different makeup where he can sit there and watch the guy struggle and not say, I should be in there. I don't know if I'm ascribing an opinion to Cam that is unwarranted. Cam could have been able to do that. I guess the Patriots just thought better to just have it done, and we're going with Mac. That's it. And Lance does not have that luxury. You could sit here and say it's a lack of belief in the kid. It's tough to disagree with that. Very tough. Let's go to John in North Carolina. You're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, John?
Hey, how you doing, Rich?
What's going on?
As you brought up about the Trey Lance situation, of course, Jimmy G, being the good person that he isn't going to bring up that he should start. But I believe his teammates will. I believe all the guys that were there for them NFC Championship games and that Super Bowl run will. Especially if they start off 3-5, 2-6.
I don't think they're 2-6. I just don't think they're 2-6. And thanks for the call, John. I mean, put the schedule up again. They play the Rams twice in the first 8 weeks of the season, which is a bummer schedule-wise. And that's tough.
Yeah,
but they've got games against Carolina, Atlanta, Chicago, and Seattle. They should win. And Denver, again, I still need to see it to believe it. I know that you keep saying to me that I mean, you even drafted Russell Wilson in your fantasy, your must-win fantasy league there. I love the, his ability. I need to see it. Kansas City, they go 4-4, 5-3. Or Lance just comes in and lights it up. He has that ability. He has that special ability. He does.
I mean, that schedule looks like 4-4 to me. Looks like 4-4 to me.
Chargers, Cardinals, and Saints right after the bye, too. God, I just at some point rip the Band-Aid off and go with them. And they might be doing that anyway, but having Garoppolo there, understanding he's the backup, and it's better to have him there than Seattle. But him being there is no question another hidden benefit that we're all focusing on is the dreaded door of doubt. Got to open it. Playing it by half measure. Again, John Lynch is kind enough to agree to come on this program later this week. I so look forward to talking to him about it. We've also invited Kyle Shanahan on this program. He's got an open invite. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Our favorite BA, Bruce Arians, joining us here on the program. Super Bowl winning head coach of the Bucs and recent retiree, coming on this program when we return on the Rich Eisen Show. Back here on the program. Okay, everybody. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on the show.
Just a quick check on the poll I threw up there.
Yeah.
Which QB starts more games this year? Jimmy G, Trey Lance, Deshaun, because we know he's going to be locked into, 7 games?
Oh, no, hold on a minute.
6 games?
6 games, yeah.
And Geno Smith.
Does Deshaun win the poll?
No, he's at last, actually, 4%. Trey Lance, 57%. Geno, 24%. Jimmy G, 14%.
Well, I mean, everyone wisely went with a week 1 starter.
Right. Well, Geno's starting week 1.
I think if you removed Lance from that equation, I would love to see the poll.
You do it again?
Yeah. Do it again and remove Lance from there.
All right.
Who starts more? Geno, Jimmy, Deshaun Watson? Because Watson is going to start 6. Pardon me. Watson's going to start 6. So that's kind of the over-under. Does Jimmy G start 6? Does Geno start 6? Poll question, what week does Drew Lock take over?
2.
I wonder what that would... I mean, if the Seahawks...
I mean, Drew Lock had a chance to take the starting job and threw 3 picks.
There is no doubt in my mind the Niners sit there and go, if we cut Jimmy, he's going to be in Seattle in week 2. And we...
Probably.
And we got to do Jimmy better than just cutting him 2 days before week 1 so he's totally effed. We got to do right by him.
Or they just tank, take C.J. Stroud, get a new coach next year, and away we go.
Who?
Seattle.
C.J. Stroud. Okay. All right.
They're taking a quarterback in the first round next year.
Yeah, they are. C.J. Stroud's
going to be a top 5 pick.
He's your guy?
It's going to be one of those guys.
He's your guy? Okay.
He's the guy right now. I mean, it could be Caleb Williams. Could be,
Could be.
Bryce Young seems like he's a little undersized.
Okay.
But
could take Stetson Bennett.
Sure.
You want to get somebody who's beaten Michigan, right? C.J. Stroud's not that guy.
Well, this year he will be.
Okay. I still got a few weeks.
A
few weeks left
11,
to me.
11, 12 weeks left.
I'll ask Desmond. Now 3. Do you think Des saw my Canton performance?
Oh, probably. I mean, too bad we can't really ask Desmond what I asked you yesterday. He's rooting for Notre Dame, obviously. But
we will. I'll ask him.
I don't know.
He can't say that.
That's what I mean. He can't really answer.
Well, he chose Michigan, Pitt, Baylor, and Texas A&M as his Final 4.
But Ohio State, Notre Dame this weekend. What a game. 2 top 5 teams.
Is it this weekend or next?
It's this weekend.
Oh.
Saturday night game.
Oh, yeah. I'll be watching that. That's right.
Yeah. I'll be in Atlanta, so.
Oh, you will be. You'll be between the hedges.
Yeah.
That's right.
At the Dome.
844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on the Rich Eisen Show. I love this guy. Is he on? Yes, he is on. He is on. By the way, I'm going to see my cardiologist today.
Oh, nice.
And the reason why I bring it up is because this man is working with Novartis in the Coaching Cholesterol campaign, talking about heart health. Coaching cholesterol. By the way, I guess I should ask him. Bruce Arians back here on the Rich Eisen Show on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, the Super Bowl winning head coach. Coach, did you ever coach a guy named Cholesterol? Or is this your first time coaching cholesterol?
This is the first time I've coached cholesterol. And I think he's got a chance to be a pretty decent player.
Yeah, how does one coach cholesterol? What do you got for me on that, Bruce?
First thing you do is go get a blood test and find out what your levels are and make sure they're good.
Mine are
and
high.
if not, diet, exercise, and medication, brother.
Okay, brother. Very good. How's life? You look good. I saw you on TV making the rounds. You look good. How much weight have you lost, Bruce?
Since the Super Bowl, 52.
Ooh.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is that the number? Is that the number of the Super Bowl you won, or that's the amount of weight that you lost? Wait a minute.
55 was Super Bowl, 52 was the weight. And
wow. Really?
So I'm trying to keep it off is the harder part.
I bet. That's incredible. Congratulations. Your wife must be thrilled. Your family must be thrilled you dropped 52 like that.
Finally getting healthy.
Okay. Do you miss it? Do you miss the game, though? Do you miss coaching? Do you miss all that?
No. I've got the best thing in the world, Rich, because I'm at practice every day.
Right.
And stand behind the quarterbacks like I always have, go in and watch the film with the offensive coaches, talk with Jason and John Spytek about the personnel, and I go play golf. This
sounds like being a grandparent. Like you get to enjoy the baby, and then at the end of the day, you hand it back to the parent, right?
It is exactly like it. I do the same thing with my grandson.
You enjoy the good stuff, and when it might not be the case, you're just like, here, you take them. It's over.
Oh yeah, I learned one lesson. We're at Tennessee practicing against them, and I verbal abused at a referee, and he threw a flag on me. So you're not the head coach anymore. I guess I better in the press box.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. You got a flag in a scrimmage? Is that what you're saying? You got one?
In practice. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You said a magic word, Bruce?
I think he's been waiting for like 4 years to get it.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. All right, let's talk about a few things, if you don't mind, about the Buccaneers and then your decision to step aside, and when that happened, Coach, because I'm sure you've heard a lot of the conversation about why you stepped aside and how you and Brady didn't get along. I'm just going to jump right into that and give you the floor on your relationship with Tom Brady and things of that nature. Coach Bruce Arians.
Yeah, it's never been better. I mean, we stand at practice now, and he's old enough now to ride off practice in the golf cart with me. He didn't have to walk off the field.
I like it.
We've got a great relationship, and it's never been soured.
And so your decision to retire came how, Coach? Walk me through that, if you don't mind.
It was, succession was huge for me, Rich. I watched the hiring cycle, wasn't real pleased with the way things went, and decided it was, time for Todd to take over. And Tom came back, which made it really easy because, he's got a great football team to coach and a great staff, and no better time for me. That was one of the most important. I want one of my guys to get that job. And so, ownership's been fantastic. Jason, everybody's been fantastic, and it's been working out great. And really, really love where the Bucs are right now.
So, how do you advise when you say you're not your role, senior advisor to the GM? What is your advisory role? Walk me through that a little bit, Bruce Arians.
Just talking about hey, what are the best 53 players? What's the best practice squad guys? Who do you like? Who do you like out of this guy? Why you like him? The same thing going into the draft. I thought we nailed the draft again this year, and Jason and I have a great working relationship that way. And then getting Todd in there and getting the same things. And so yeah, I'm glad I'm out of town today because it's cut day and it's only like the worst day of the year.
Yeah, I bet so, and that's obviously what's going on in the NFL right now. So when it comes to that offensive line up front, in front of Tom, it appears to be clearly banged up in the middle of it. What can you tell me about the severity of that situation right now?
Ryan Jensen's all-pro player. You don't just take those guys out of your lineup, but we drafted Robert Hainsey for that purpose, to have the next center ready to go. I think he's going to be a heck of a player. Same thing, Luke Gedeke, got him in there. But there's still battles, and we've got, I think, great depth. This is probably the deepest roster I've ever been on as far as quality depth. And so I have no concerns. I think those guys are going to play their tails off and be really solid.
Bruce Arians right here on the Rich Eisen Show, senior advisor to the GM, Super Bowl winning head coach, Super Bowl 55 of the Bucs right here on the Rich Eisen Show. If you wouldn't mind putting your old school role, or not so old school, but prior to you returning to coaching, role of analyst, football analyst on, if you wouldn't mind putting that on your head right now, your Kangol, or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
The story that Jimmy Garoppolo has been re-signed by the 49ers as the backup quarterback to a kid in Trey Lance, who we all know the Niners gave a ton of draft capital to the Dolphins to go up and select. If you're Kyle Shanahan, how do you work that situation and its awkwardness potentially?
Yeah, I think John Lynch and Kyle both have great personalities, and they've talked this out. Jimmy he wouldn't have done it if he wasn't all in, and it's hard for me to talk about another team's guys, but
right,
haven't been in that situation, so I can't really swear to it, but I think everybody's probably on the same page.
When you say talk it out, what does that mean? Again, I'm not asking you to suppose anything, but again, you've been in a ton of coaching situations and having to ascribe a plan to a player that they may or may not want to hear, but obviously Garoppolo decided. But When you say talk it out, do you literally say to a player, this is the way it's going to be, and you either agree to it or not? Is that how it works, Coach Arians?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you got to be straight up honest because they can all see through all the BS. And, he and his agent, whoever it was, they had to all talk this out and decide, hey, this is best for me, best for the 49ers, let's go.
And so how does one handle a locker room? But again, you may not have been in a quarterback situation, but you know that you have definitely played young kids that you need to coach up, and there are veterans in the locker room that might look at you saying, why are we sticking with this young kid when we can go with a vet, right? Hasn't that happened?
Well, they obviously think the young guy's the guy. And from everything I hear, the players think so too. So I doubt there's any bad feelings in that locker room. I think they're all on the same page from what I hear. I'm just guessing.
No, I know. I'm just trying to, pick the brain of a Super Bowl winning head coach about how you handle a locker room in a situation like that, and a kid that you need to clearly coach up to speed faster than not, right? I mean, that's the issue in San Francisco.
Yeah, and he's not a rookie. I mean, he's seen it now for a year, and he's a talented guy.
So walk me through the decision you made a couple years ago in drafting Kyle Trask and his readiness, if this is, in fact, the final rodeo of Tom Brady, Coach Bruce Arians.
Yeah, we wanted to get a young quarterback. We all believed in Blaine Gabbert, but we wanted to get a young guy and start getting him ready. And I love Kyle's story. He's a backup in high school, backup in college, and when he got his chance, he lit it up. And big, strong guy, plays in the. He's mobile, but I mean, he's not a runner. But love the way he looks downfield and the throws he made at Florida in big games. So he has all the tools. He couldn't be in a better situation to be sitting behind Tom and learning from Tom and Tom's preparation and Blaine knowing the offense inside and out. So there's no question for him not getting answered. And he got a ton of reps. This it was really good for him this preseason.
You mean during Tom's time away from the team? That's where Kyle Trask got some serious.
Yeah, he got a ton of reps, and we had planned to play him in the preseason heavily anyway, just to get him some action. And I thought he progressed greatly.
And Byron Leftwich, I know you told me a few years ago you were the one who basically got him into coaching. You said, I think you can do this job. And now look where he is and what positions you've placed him in. And obviously this is Todd Bowles' head coaching gig. But I assume when you said earlier that you didn't like the way the hiring cycle went this year, that Byron not getting a gig is part of all that. Do you think that he's ready this year? This could be his last year in Tampa. Do you think, Coach Arians?
I'm pretty sure that if he's not a head coach next year, something's wrong. I mean, it checks every box, and I think some people would give Meek too much credit for what he has done in Tampa, and but he's done the whole. It's been his show since day one. The reason I got back into coaching because I could hire Byron, and I didn't have to do it. So, had I not gotten Byron, I probably would have stayed out of coaching.
All right, Bruce, I know you got a large amount of people tugging at you for your time today. So walk me through again what you're doing for Cholesterol Education Month. I have high cholesterol. I'm seeing my cardiologist today. I'm 53, and my dad had heart problems and heart troubles. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are listening to us right now and watching us right now that need some counseling on that. I'm going to get some more today. I'll turn the floor over to you on what you want to talk about here, Bruce.
Yeah, I think my big scare, Rich, we played the Vikings in 2017. I came home upset, bad loss, middle of the night. You never want to wake your wife up at 3 a.m. Hey, we got to go to the hospital. Chest pains, the whole thing. And found out I had known heart disease, but it was bad cholesterol. And for me, that started a regimen of diet, exercise, and medication. And I think everybody needs a coach. And I needed a coach for my health. And so got with the doctors, and like you going today to get your blood work done, I just called a scorecard. Get a scorecard, keep up with it, especially people in stressful jobs. I mean, if you're stressed and bad cholesterol together, that's a silent killer. And so I want to make more awareness of especially going into September, which is Cholesterol Awareness Month. And do everything I can to make sure we save some lives.
Coach, send my best to your family, okay? If you're ever coming out here to L.A., I'd love to have you sitting in this chair next to me just to have a better eye-to-eye with you as opposed to over the phone. Always appreciate it.
No doubt, brother. It's always fun.
Right back at you, Bruce. That's Bruce Arians, the famed BA, the head coach of the Super Bowl winners in Super Bowl 55 right here on the Rich Eisen Show. I guess he's the special advisor to the general manager, so he didn't want to talk about somebody else's team. But like I told you, him basically saying they talked it out. We sit here in the media, and then the phone line's light, and we're appreciative of that. And we'll take phone calls again in a second here. We sit here and go, how's that going to work? What's going to happen if? What happens when? How will it work? And the way it works in the NFL, and you just heard it from Bruce Arians as well, remember I told you it sounds so simple, and coaches boil it down to that. It's like, okay, we cut him, he winds up somewhere else.
Right.
And we've got a backup in Nate Sudfeld who we believe in, but can we win a Super Bowl with that guy? Nate Sudfeld, most famous, outside of, if I'm not mistaken, killing it for the Indiana Hoosiers. Most famous for being the guy that Doug Peterson suddenly turned to in the fourth quarter of game 256 of his final year in Philadelphia when they were taking on the, at the time, Washington football team, I believe, was their name.
I think you're
and
right.
The Giants needed the Washington football team to lose in order to make the playoffs with a completely pedestrian record, if I'm not mistaken. That's the way things shook out. And they turned to Nate Sudfeld, sat Jalen Hurts, clearly not going to go with Carson Wentz, who is already benched. And everyone's like, well, what's that about? Peterson was gone within weeks. That's the Nate Sudfeld we're talking about. And he's the guy that's sitting there. Better than Nate Sudfeld, not on somebody else's team. He's staying with us. Much better backup plan in case. The question is, in case of emergency or in case of Lance not doing his gig. And a coach says, all right, Trey, we're going to keep Jimmy G. Hope you're fine with it. Need to be fine with it. Or do they even ask him, what do you think if we keep Jimmy? You fine with that? I don't think they give that latitude to the young kid. He's not Tom Brady. Hey, Tom, we're going to keep Jimmy G. You fine with that? That's how Jimmy's on San Francisco, apparently.
Right.
So they basically say to him, Trey, we're gonna keep Jimmy. And hope you're fine with that. You're still our guy, you're our guy. We're gonna let you. You got a lot of room for error and all that room for growth. You don't even talk about error with him. It could just be like, we're keeping Jimmy and hope you're fine with that. You're our guy. Jimmy, we've been talking to your agent. Apparently you'd be up for this idea. We're up for it too, but you're not the starter here. You have to understand that. You got to help Trey. You got to make sure he's the guy. You're a backup again. Remember what it was like against when you were with the Patriots, Tom Brady? That's where it's going to be here. So on one hand, they do not allow Trey Lance the ability to veto sticking with Garoppolo on the roster, like Tom Brady apparently got that veto.
But
and on the other hand, they tell Jimmy Garoppolo that Trey Lance is kind of your Tom Brady again.
Oh.
You're not starting under any circumstance. You're the backup. You got to support the starter in the locker room.
Now, I'm
and
curious,
the quarterback room.
I wonder, maybe we should ask Kurt this. I'm wondering if Jimmy's going to be the number 3 and not dress. Like, are they paying him $6.5 million to just not go to Seattle, essentially?
No.
And he's going to be the number 3 guy.
No way. He's
and
number 2.
Sudfeld's number 2.
No way. No chance.
That way you eliminate the possibility of Lance has 3 or 4 bad drives in a row and the fans being like, put Jimmy in.
Or you don't pay him that money to not dress him.
But you're paying him to not go to Seattle. That's basically why you're paying him.
Right, but you're also paying him to put him in if Lance gets hurt. Can you imagine you do what you're saying, your theory here, you're positing this idea.
Yeah.
And Lance goes down in the third quarter of a game. Jimmy G's dressed in pajamas with an earbud. And Sudfeld's the one who goes in there and struggles. And you paying Jimmy G the most money of any backup in the NFL. And he's not available because you needed to deactivate him for your starter's psyche.
Why is he on the roster at all then?
Because you can manage the situation because you're the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers with incredible pedigree and a huge reputation for being
I don't know if this is
a terrific coach.
Like Jimmy's got to be like the greatest guy ever.
Kurt Warner was a guy who told Tom Coughlin, I almost saved us today, but I'm not saying I should be the starter. As a matter of fact, I'm counseling you to tell the media I'm not your starter. But he also said that Jimmy Garoppolo would absolutely accept a trade to a spot where he could be a starter rather than sitting on a bench somewhere.
All right, Kurt was 33 that year.
Jimmy G is right around that age? A little younger?
Jimmy G is 30.
There you go.
This is the business we've chosen.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. That's it. It's the business we've chosen. And we've chosen to tell you, Trey, we're keeping Jimmy, but you can't veto it like Tom Brady.
Don't suck.
And
you know what I mean? Like
Jimmy
don't have any bad games, or you're gonna be, and then the fans are gonna be calling the radio, and then
well,
it's gonna get a little tense around here.
Radio. He doesn't care about the radio. He doesn't care about the radio. We do.
For a team that
Thank
you
goodness.
think can win the Super Bowl, this is just like weird.
This is what happens when you traffic in choosing a player in the top 5 of a draft. Normally you do that because you've earned that spot because you suck.
No, you moved up.
But you're good enough and you moved up, and clearly the pressure's removed if Trey Lance just comes in and just crushes it, which I think he can. And he's got 2 opponents in the Bears and the Seahawks, who just the other day we had a poll question of which team is more likely to be the number 1 overall drafting team.
It's very
Is it Chicago or is it Seattle? You should beat them both.
They should.
You should go 2-0.
But if they don't.
Oh, boy.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if they don't, then they've got a tougher decision on their hands. Their seat's not going to get hot. Jed York's not going to bounce these. These are 2 terrific coach, general manager. I mean, they as I said, if there's any coach, general manager that could survive this decision, it's them. Especially since they've got a Super Bowl winning team. They could still win it all. I mean, they could win a wild card game in Dallas. Just checking to see if you're paying attention.
I am.
All right, we'll take a break.
Kyle Shanahan is 39-42. He is on the hot seat this year, man.
Not at all.
He is on the hot seat.
There's
this decision could cost him his job.
There's a seat, and he's definitely not on one that is hot. Not at all. Not at all. Dude, last year was incredible.
Why are we worst case scenario in these Niners? Like, at worst, they should be 3-3 after 6.
That's right.
And probably 4-2.
There you go.
So, we're
causing
4-4
at the bye.
We're causing a commotion.
That's fine. That's a playoff spot.
Yeah.
If they lose both games to the Rams, Jimmy's going to start the second half of the year.
Dude,
what if they win
those
every
Rams
game
games are
other
going to be
than those
lit.
2?
I know, right?
Because they should beat the Bears. They should beat Seattle.
What if Geno
we don't know
lights
about
it
the
up?
Broncos.
What if Geno lights it up? Or words he just said into a microphone. Let's take a break right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Phone calls.
What if he does, though?
Desmond Howard, hour number 3. What's he lighting up with his 4 teams that he chose to make the college football playoffs? That's coming up. It started on Thursday. It started so long ago, Jimmy Garoppolo was on a path to be cut by the 49ers. The it being the fantasy draft that Joe Latrulio invited me to take part in with one more team left in the 12-team league. And you guys took that last team, you and Brockman and TJ, you and Brockman did it together, and that started the league's draft process. Joe Latrulio, one of the stars of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a delightful human being, Jet Met fan, out here in Los Angeles, California, invited us, and 20 players on your roster.
Ooh, big roster.
And each week you must start one quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 defense, no kickers. And by starting, the computer does it for you. Mm-hmm. Actually, the computer does it for you after the games have been played. They take your top 9
and then
point totals at the position, and that's how it keeps track of it as the games go along.
That's kind of dope.
So you could be up by 40. And then you're down by 80 because 2 people on somebody's bench, like the 16th and 17th player, has an incredible game. And they're now suddenly the ones that are going to wind up active at the end of the week. It's a crazy concept. And because I guess he didn't have time, or we couldn't all get together and figure out a time for a draft because we don't know who's in the league until they accept the invitation.
Right.
The draft is just a running draft with 2 hours to make each pick. It started Thursday during this program. Right around this time, you accepted the invitation on Thursday.
So long.
Chris, where are we right now on this Tuesday?
We are in round 20.
It's almost to be finished, huh?
We're almost done.
So I've got the penultimate pick, and you've got the last pick, right?
Yeah, so you're on triple deck. Actually, Joe Latrulio is on the clock. He's got an hour and 54 minutes to go.
Pick number 236.
And then someone we don't know.
Yeah, some guy, Davey Stats, is next. And then Paul Rudd.
Then me.
And then you, then us.
That's it. And then I'll wrap it up.
And then we're done. Actually, what's funny, speaking of Jimmy Garoppolo, he went in this round. Someone picked him. The third pick of the 20th round.
Why not? Just
Jimmy G went. Then Sony Michel went. He was just cut. Gronkowski, Rob just went.
And by the way, this is your roster for the entire year.
He's not on a team.
The reason why the people are choosing this is because this is your roster for your entire year. You can't cut anybody. There's no waiver wire. And if somebody gets injured, they just sit injured on your roster all year long. So you're taking flyers now to see how things might work out towards the end of the season.
Right.
Which is why I chose my 19th out of 20th picks.
Who was your pick?
Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, Chubba.
So in case he gets the start, because the last 2 years he's gotten some run.
Yeah.
Or last year he got some run. It was Mike Davis, right?
Remember,
you
had Mike Davis.
He was the Judah Maccabee of my fantasy league. It was like Hanukkah, where the oil kept burning longer than you thought.
And because of that, I drafted Mike Davis last year, and he did nothing for me.
It was Chuba Hubbard that you need.
Like nothing.
Back here on the Rich Eisen show.
Hey, Kenny Pickett just got drafted.
Did he really?
Hey,
by Joey
Kenny
Stacks.
Pickett.
Okay, so we've got 4 more picks left to go in the fantasy league that started at this very moment on Thursday.
Gino's available.
This could last 8 more hours, potentially.
This could potentially last 8. Rich, you should drag it out.
I chose Mac Jones as a quarterback.
I saw that.
Well, because I have Josh Allen. He's going to be my best point total guy every week.
Yeah.
And he's got a bye week. I looked at in week 7, Mac Jones is a Monday night at home against the Bears. And I'm like,
TJ, we have easily the 2 best quarterbacks in the league.
I think when you look at the team,
we have Lamar and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Why wouldn't we do that?
What do you mean?
We get
what if one guy has 40 and then the next guy has 38? Guess what? We have the guy with 40.
That's how that works, right?
I guess.
What do you mean? You just described it.
Or you could have another player that's going to be more active for you.
By the way, we didn't draft Rodgers that early.
Okay.
So,
Rodgers was slipping, so we just snagged some value.
Slipping and falling and can't get up.
Oh, dream team.
Chrome Soft has the best tour performance for every type of performance. These golf balls are amazing, and they're for everyone. Doesn't just make the best players better, it's made everyone better. Men, women, first-time major winners, repeat major winners, club champions, business golfers, hackers like myself use the Chrome Soft, the regular Chrome Soft. More distance, better field, incredible forgiveness. If I feel the difference, you can. Certainly if you're better than me, which likely is the case. Chrome Soft X provides excellent spin consistency, tour level, short game control. Chrome Soft XLS, a lower spin golf ball, longer shots, firmer feel, still a high spin around the greens. When you add it all up, it's so simple. Chrome Soft is better for the best and better for everyone. Find out which Chrome Soft is right for you at CallawayGolf.com/Chrome Soft.
Let me ask you this. I'm looking at the defenses, right? There's something called ghost defense. Now, is that just...
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Is that like Ghost Protocol?
Ghost Runner?
No idea.
I don't even know what that means.
Ghostface Killer?
Steven in St. Louis. Let's take his phone call. What's going on, Steven? You there, Steven?
Oh, hey, guys.
My bad.
What's going on?
I know it's not a football-related question.
It doesn't matter. It's all sports, entertainment. Go for it.
It's all good. Kurt Warner, I guess, was quarterback here in 2001, but that was also the same year a rookie started. And this is a fun stat. On August 29, 2001, that same rookie hit a home run. Serena Williams won a round at the U.S. Open. Bo Bichette, Craig Biggio, and Vlad Guerrero Sr. all had a hit. Last night, that same rookie hit home run 694. Serena Williams won a round at the U.S. Open.
Unbelievable.
And all the listed players' kids had a hit for Toronto.
And that's Albert Pujols was that guy.
Yes.
Unbelievable
That's
night.
Albert. Yeah, and 450 different individual pitchers. And so obviously that's something to watch on my end. But just to link it back with another player in your neck of the woods for your hometown team, Aaron Judge hit home run number 50.
I know. I saw it.
And so obviously there's 2 home run chases going on right now. But
Nick, right? It's amazing. Thanks for the call. You got Pujols going for 700, and you got Judge trying to chase down Roger Maris, who was the last player in Major League Baseball to have 50 home runs before September. Roger Maris is the last guy to do it. 51 when the calendar turned to September, and Judge has 2 more days to match it or surpass it.
I think he's going to get to 62 for sure.
God. What a night in Anaheim, or should I say Los Angeles? I'll tell you what, the traffic to get down to Anaheim from Los Angeles County, it didn't feel like L.A. to get all the way down there. But Susie and I took all 3 kids down to Angel Stadium last night, and I was driving down with them, and I'm like, Aaron Judge could hit his 50th. Cooper knows that already. Xander and Taylor needed a little bit of a primer on it, and I'm like, we could see history tonight, which is very few people hit 50 home runs in a season. I mean, it's happened, but it hasn't happened in a while, and certainly not for the Yankees, and certainly it's Aaron Judge. And before Judge hit his 50th, Ohtani went yard.
Just kind of reached out and slapped it.
Frankie Montas put one on the outer edge, and it made Ohtani's back leg buckle a little bit, and then he basically one-armed it out.
Yeah, why?
And it was a no doubt about it either, too. And so when Ohtani hit that, he broke a scoreless tie, and part of the reason why, it was a 2-2 tie. The reason why it was a tie game is because Phil Nevin, the interim manager of the Los Angeles Angels, intentionally walked Aaron Judge not once but twice, much to the dismay
How many Yankee fans?
We were all there, and I was livid. I was pissed. Susie was like, "You gotta, and she knows Phil from back in the day of covering. She's like, "You gotta talk about it," and I'm like, I said I would normally do that, but I said it was cool for Aaron Boone to intentionally walk Miguel Cabrera in front of all the Tiger fans earlier this year when he was sitting on 500 career home runs, right?
Right. Or was it 3,000
I
hits?
need to be consistent. Was it 3,000 hits?
I think he was going for 3,000.
I forget what it was. It was a huge milestone, and I'm like, yeah, you should intentionally walk him. He's got to win a game. And here I am saying, damn it. But it sucked. There I was with my whole family and my kids, and I'm like, intentional walk twice. And they were confused, too, because now, they don't throw the pitches. It's just Phil Nevin, the second time, just like waved his hand, just like,
Yeah, just
like get him out of here.
Hey.
Yeah, please get him out.
Hey.
Just put him on first, all right? Pissed with this whole thing. And then the Yankees pitched to Ohtani. They should have done him the same damn favor. And then Judge hits the next. He finally gets pitched to because they're up by 2. And it doesn't matter if he homers, they still have the lead. And it was no doubt, it hit the rocks too. Where my kids were wondering, like, do people hit the rocks? I'm like, they can. And then he did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, unreal. Incredible night. Judge hits 50 and Ohtani, one arms, one out. And Trout was remarkable too. I told my kids that's a really nice night at the ballpark.
Eisen Palooza.
It was Eisen Palooza. Thank you. It was. And so that was, and Yankees lost it. Oswaldo Cabrera had a shot to put the Yankees up with 2 outs, 2 strikes in the 9th, and he hit one ticketed for the gap, right center field. And Trout glided under it. He had to have run about 30 yards and just glided under it. It's like I screamed, like, yes! That's a home run, and we got out of our seats, and I'm like, oh, Trout's going to run this down. I literally said those words. And then he didn't run it down. He just flipped.
So good.
He's so good.
When healthy, man.
3 incredible baseball players in one stadium last night.
Okay, so Stanton hit 59 back in 2017.
Last guy to do that, right?
Well, he's had the most since 2001. So Bonds broke the record, 73 in 2001. Sosa hit 64 that year as well.
Yeah.
Now, if Stanton gets past 61, do you consider him the home run king?
Judge, you're talking about.
Judge, yeah. If Judge gets 62. Is he the home run king?
I mean, does it matter?
Kind of.
Does it?
Kind of does. I don't know. That stuff matters to me.
It's just amazing what he's doing.
It'd also just really suck if he hits 62, AL record, Yankee record, and then leaves.
Okay.
He slid that one in.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be too bad for you guys.
He's going nowhere.
What are you going to do?
He's going nowhere.
Wow.
He's going nowhere. He goes nowhere except back to the Bronx.
When the Giants visit in June next year?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. No.
Because he's from Northern California?
No, I know. It's great.
All right.
It's great. He got a chance to say hi to all the friends when they were up in Oakland. You can wave. He's going nowhere. He's going nowhere. It's just amazing. He's so much bigger than, he's
bigger than Gronkowski.
He's just.
And he plays baseball.
He's just a superhero.
Yeah. Rich, you're up. Sorry.
He's a superhero.
Paul Rudd just picked the Panthers defense. So you're up.
And Ohtani, too, by the way. Ohtani, too.
Ohtani's not a little dude,
man.
Ohtani's
Ohtani, too. They put a stat on the scoreboard. I guess he did this. Did he do this last week against the Blue Jays? First player ever to have 10 or more strikeouts in a game, 2 runs batted in, and a stolen base in the same game. It's just, it's crazy. It makes no sense.
Yeah, he's so good.
I saw a stat that I think Ohtani leads the Angels in at-bats and innings pitched. Or something crazy.
That's awesome, too.
Something crazy
That's
like
awesome.
that.
Sure. And by the way, is outstanding at both. Not just doing it just because he can, but he is gold standard at both.
Also bigger than you think.
I can't wait.
He's like 6'4". He's huge.
I know. So you're like, what's going to happen when Judge comes in as a giant?
Right.
I'll just flip the script and say Judge will just look to his left
and see Ohtani
in stripes next to him.
He'll see him in stripes.
Get ready for that, pal.
And in New York, but it won't be on the Yankees.
Pinstripes.
Stevie Cohen.
I will.
Let me tell you something.
Axe Capitals billions.
We have the guy who brought him to the Angels, and he's on the Mets. Come on, it's already written. The story's already written. Fellas.
Fun night at the ballpark.
Let's go Mets.
Bottom line is, we can have this conversation. He's in the toilet.
It's August the 29th, 30th.
It is 30th.
You know,
it's my daughter's 9th birthday.
9? That is insane.
Taylor's 9. All right, we'll take a break. We're back here in just a few seconds on our YouTube stream.
Rich Eisen Show.
Love it. Love it.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
I played in the Pac-10 and now coach in the Pac-12, and now it's going to be the Pac.
The Rich Eisen Show.
We'll see. But the longer-term implications, no one has any idea.
Earlier on the show, Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, Super Bowl winning head coach Bruce Arians. Coming up, ESPN College Gameday analyst Desmond Howard. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hour number 3 of the Rich Eisen Show is on the air. 844-204-Rich is the number for you to dial.
You got this.
To join us. I do. I've only been saying that phone number for 8 years.
It's so long.
I know. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial to join us here on our YouTube stream. And we say hello to our terrestrial radio friends out there in the Rich Eisen Show terrestrial radio network and Odyssey as well. We're going to be on Sirius XM back there at Lickety Split, and we're going to be on the Roku channel coming in September. One last friendly reminder in this third hour of the program that Roku devices, select Samsung Smart TVs, Samsung Smart TV, Fire TV, all going to have the Roku channel on them for you to stream us free. You can download the Roku app on your mobile devices. The Roku channel is free there as well. Desktop, the RokuChannel.com. You pop that one into your URL, and then you start watching us for free. That's all coming, and you don't have to pay a dime for it. We're so excited about that right here on the Rich Eisen Show. We've already talked to Bruce Arians and Kurt Warner, Super Bowl winners. Kurt Warner, a Super Bowl MVP, and the same goes for our next guest. One of my favorite people on the planet. There's not a lot of... Last night, Aaron Judge hit a 50th home run, and I celebrated with my children, jumping up and down. Very few sporting moments excite me. Do this professionally, no cheering in the press box, things of that nature. So very few people have given me as much joy as this man on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show, and talking to him about all things college football and all things Desmond Howard on behalf of the Townhouse Game Day Dippers, if you will. Desmond Howard on the program. How you doing, Des? What's going on?
Rich, I'm doing great. It's just an honor to be able to speak to you. I always look forward to these opportunities, and my favorite quote right now is, "Say it with your chest."
You saw it.
That's my man right there, damn it. That's my guy.
You saw my work in your native Ohio, Desmond, correct? You saw my work? You saw my...
I saw your work, sir. And you tremendous as you.
Because, boy... to the Cantonians, the wonderful people of Stark County, Ohio, whenever I appear there every year with the NFL Network's coverage of the Hall of Fame ceremonies, and also bestowed the honor of hosting the jacket dinner. The OHs that I hear, and over the last 10 years, they echo. They echo, and they stuck with me, and I remember every last one of them. And boy, did I just really give it right back. I'm so glad because I was going to ask you if you saw my handiwork.
Oh, absolutely. Watched it like a dozen times.
You can watch it 42 times. That's basically what I was trying to say.
Exactly.
I know, that's right. I should have watched it 10 more times. 30 more times. 30 more. Yeah, no, you're right. That was amazing. That was great. Loved it.
Yes, the MVP of Super Bowl 31, 11 fewer than the number of points Michigan put on Ohio State this year here on the Rich Eisen Show. I could keep going on and on. It's just... I have written, however, a very large check that I hope our Wolverines can cash in the Horseshoe later in November, Desmond. What do you think? What do you think? Well, I know you like Michigan. I saw they were one of your 4 teams to make the college football playoffs.
That's right.
Desmond.
That's right. Absolutely. Now, I think that they have a lot of firepower on offense. They have 2 quarterbacks who are really outstanding players, and obviously that put Jim in the position that he's in now, where he's going to start one this week and start the other next week. So you got 2 great quarterbacks. I think the 1-2 punch with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards is maybe one of the best 1-2 punches in all of college football. 2 just extraordinary running backs. I like the quality of depth in the wide receivers room. I really do. You got 2 tight ends who will be playing in the NFL. So I just think offensively they have a lot of firepower. My concern is, it's a legitimate concern, they lost the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Josh Gaddis is down in Coral Gables now with the University of Miami. And Jim, his approach to offensive coordinator position is like coordinator by committee, meaning there's not going to be just one play caller. So I'm really curious to see how this experiment plays out with this offensive coordinator by committee. And defensively, obviously, we lost pretty much 3 first rounders. I mean, Ajabo popped his Achilles, so he wasn't drafted in the first round. But it's clear to everybody he had first round talent. And McDonald went back to Baltimore to be the DC with the Baltimore Ravens. But they bring in a new DC who actually coached in Baltimore with McDonald a couple of years ago. So it's the same system, same philosophy, same terminology. So there's not going to be a big difference in that department, which is good. And I do believe that they rotated enough guys up front where guys may not be quote-unquote starters. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's hard to replace Hutchinson and Ajabo. There's no doubt about that. But guys got, valuable playing time, valuable playing experience. So we're going to see. The defenses may take a little bit longer to come around, but they're going to have some time because the schedule is really not that tough early on. And so it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. Can't wait.
Well, Desmond, I always have been, thinking over the last 10 years, dreaming that Michigan would beat Ohio State and make the Big Ten championship game in the college football playoff. I just didn't think that the follow-up would be, Jim spending signing day with the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm serious. And then starting the season with rotating quarterbacks the first 2 weeks, and then changing coordinators. And my concern out of all of that, though, is Hutchinson and Ajabo were such difference makers. Who are going to be the people to step up when Ohio State clearly is reloaded, because that's what they do, and they're better. I mean, why would you think Michigan could beat Ohio State again, and Ohio State is number 2? That would be beyond great. I would. By the way, I don't know if they'd have me back in Canton next year, knowing what will come. But why do you think? Why do you think that? It's basically what I'm saying.
On paper, it shouldn't happen.
Right.
On paper, it shouldn't happen. That's clear. I think that people are looking at Ohio State and just thinking about the offense. No one's paying any attention to the defense. Only thing you hear is they got this guy, Jim Knowles, who comes from Stillwater. He's with Oklahoma State for the past few seasons, and they became very good on defense eventually. But if you look at his track record when he was there, first of all, Oklahoma State a year ago, most people would tell you, had better personnel on their defense than Ohio State has right now. That's what most people would tell you if you look at their defense a year ago. So it's not like he's going to just come to Columbus, wave his magic wand, and their defense is going to be instantaneously fixed. It took him about 5 years to get that defense, the Oklahoma State Cowboys defense, to the point where they were last season under him. It's not like he came in and instantly they were like a top 10 defense or a top 15 defense. It didn't happen overnight. So I still think there's some work to do defensively with the Buckeyes. And, you can't keep – it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him, especially in this Notre Dame game. Because I just don't think – Notre Dame's a 17.5-point underdog against the Buckeyes.
Wow.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this game plays out because Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, coached against Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, in the Fiesta Bowl when Jim Knowles was coaching Oklahoma State. So he's now more familiar with Jim Knowles and how he approaches his defense and how he's going to have to attack this Ohio State defense. But now, without the personnel that Jim Knowles had in Stillwater, if that makes sense.
Desmond Howard here on the Rich Eisen Show, ESPN College Gameday analyst, Super Bowl MVP, Heisman Trophy winner, and we'll talk about the Game Day Dippers coming up shortly here on the program. So everyone knows I adore you, Desmond, and they know you're my guy, and, Charles Woodson's my guy, and, the people know that. So when you predicted 4 teams to make the college football playoffs this weekend, that were, let's just say, a little out of the ordinary. I got a lot of texts from people saying, come get your boy. That's what they say. Come get your guy right now. What's going on with Dez? Has he lost it? Has he, is he tripping with another Green Bay Super Bowl MVP? Like, what's going on with your guy, Desmond Howard? So I will give you the floor, sir. Michigan, Texas A&M, Baylor, and Pitt, with Texas A&M over our Wolverines in the national championship game. What's up with that, Desmond Howard? What do you got for me?
My man. So it depends on where you want me to start. So let's start with Pitt. I believe the ACC is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson is in the Dabo Swinney and Clemson. They're in the same predicament as Michigan from the standpoint that he lost both his coordinators. So his defensive coordinator, Brent Venables, longtime DC at Clemson. He went to Oklahoma to become the head coach, and Tony Elliott, longtime offensive coordinator at Clemson, went to take the head coaching job at UVA. And you're looking at a Clemson team that, they didn't look great last year, especially under their quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, and now he comes back. We don't know what's going to happen with them. Like, the ACC is wide open, but I do like Pat Narduzzi. I like his style of play. His team's always tough, very physical up front in the trenches. They bring on Keaton Slovis, who used to be at USC, had a great year 2018 with them. So I think he's a very capable quarterback. The ACC is wide open, so I can see Pitt for the second year in a row winning the ACC championship game. Texas A&M, people were just incensed with Nick Saban's comments about Jimbo Fisher and the recruiting of the Aggies. Well, he made that comment because Jimbo, I don't know if it's quietly or not, but Jimbo has been stacking top recruiting classes year after year after year. Eventually, that has to pay out some sort of big dividends for the Aggies, and I think this year may be the year. Don't forget, last year, they beat Alabama. So this is a team that don't think, they don't believe, like they know they can beat Alabama. They can compete with Bama in the trenches. And now they're going to circle the wagons, man, because of what he said about, their recruits and Jimbo Fisher and all that. That's just, that's just gas on the fire, so to speak. So it's going to be interesting to watch that game. Baylor, I think Dave Aranda does just a great job, man. If you've ever had a chance to sit down with him, man, he gets it. He's a cerebral coach. He gets his guys playing a physical brand of football. I like their quarterback who's coming back. So I can see Baylor. And as a matter of fact, if you watch Game Day, I think maybe 2 or 3 other guys picked Baylor to win the Big 12. So, you got Baylor, Pitt, I told you about Michigan and Texas A&M. And so that's why it's just so easy, though, to pencil in Alabama, to pencil in Georgia, to pencil in Clemson. It's just like, will somebody have some testicular fortitude to think outside the box every once in a while? I mean, please? That's all.
Yes.
That's all, brother.
Yes. Yes. So when you said this in the game day morning, in the college game day meeting, were they like, okay, we like it? Of course they did. You went outside the box. They must have loved that in your meeting.
Absolutely,
you bounce that off the producers.
Absolutely. Come on.
Okay.
So,
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to check your work. We will check your work as the season goes along. All right. Tell me, I know your time is limited, about the Townhouse Game Day Dippers campaign. What is this, Des?
Yeah,
what is this?
Man. So check this out. So Townhouse Game Day Dippers, they're these crackers that, they still got the same, classic Townhouse taste and texture. I mean, they're delicious, but they're shaped like footballs. And because, football season's here now, nothing says football like tailgating. So these are the perfect crackers to use to either elevate or spice up your spreads, your tailgate spreads. And it makes every tailgate feel like a touchdown. Now, the reason I hooked up with them is because it combines my passion for football, which I love, with, my favorite snack. This is like my go-to snack. And I have 4 recipes, too.
Okay.
4 recipes, yeah. One is the homemade halftime hummus. I happen to love hummus. And another one's a first down jalapeno cheese dip. And there's 3 dipping techniques you can use, too. But it's just like a match made in heaven. Now, you got to go out and get them now, though, because of limited supply, and then it just started in August. Go get them now, and then look at the back of the box for specially marked packages where you can enter a chance to win the ultimate fan cave makeover, too. All of us got fan caves, and every now and then it needs a makeover, my man.
Kellogg'sFamilyRewards.com for your recipes as well. What do you mean? There's different dipping styles. What are you talking about?
I got three different dipping techniques. One is a dip and twist.
Yes.
One is a dive play, and the third one is a daring double dip. So you got to check it out at Kellogg'sFamilyRewards.com.
No double dips, though, right?
Okay. All right.
Sir.
Say it with your chest too, right?
Say it with your chest. Love it. I get T-shirts printed with that on there, man. Come on.
Making you, honestly, I was saying on this program, Desmond, that my wife, Susie, right, and I've got 3 beautiful children. You're a family man as well.
Yes,
outside of my marriage and my children, I think that Canton experience with me saying it with my chest is the proudest I've ever made of myself. I've ever felt of myself in my entire life. And the fact that I've gave you joy, and you said you watched it over and over again, oh my God, you've made my day.
Absolutely. I couldn't wait to talk to you to tell you that, my man.
Look, take care of yourself, Desmond. Thanks for the call. You be well. Take care.
Rich, you too. Thank you.
Right back at you. At Desmond Howard. I follow him. You should as well. Truly is one of my most favorite people on the planet.
That's my man right there.
That's perfect. he was so happy.
I have to tell you, okay, how lucky I am
to be friends with Desmond.
Outside of again my marriage, which is going to be 20 years strong next June, and my 3 beautiful children, including my youngest daughter who turns 9 today.
Taylor.
I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to have a show like this. I'm so lucky to have you guys and friends and what have you. But going to Michigan, 86-90, Jim Harbaugh was my first coach. My first quarterback. And then towards the end of the tenure there, when the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, Michigan Wolverines were kind of losing a little bit of steam. And then the final year that I was there, it was Bo's final year there. They made the Rose Bowl. And Elvis Gerback started playing quarterback. And he found this small-ish, undersized wide receiver who started torching people towards the end of the year. And I'm like, where has this kid been all year? Where's he been? They didn't use him that much in my senior year there. Next year and the year after, beating Notre Dame on a fourth, throwing it in the end zone on 4th and inches, right? And then winning the Heisman Trophy. And then going to the NFL and winning a Super Bowl MVP in the year before I started on SportsCenter. Just the guy in terms of pridefulness. Because it's tough to remember, with Brady and Charles Woodson, that before the two of them was Desmond Howard. And the pridefulness and joy that he gave me and the pridefulness he made me feel, and all Wolverines fans, through the roof. And the fact that I get to call him a friend and I get to say what I said about the Wolverines in Canton, Ohio, and he's watching it over and over again. I'm not a jaded man. But that's freaking awesome.
It really is.
That is my man right there.
That's my man right there.
And I heard Dan's show talking about it on the way in. And they had a good question about Desmond's choices. I think Pabst asked this of DP. If he gets 2 of the 4 right, that's enough, right? From to be a sage. If he hits 50% on his picks, that's enough.
Yeah, because they're so outside of the box.
Because we're choosing a Big 12 team not named Oklahoma or Texas.
Right.
And we're choosing an ACC team to make the college football playoffs. I know that Cincinnati made it last year.
Clemson.
But an ACC team that's not Clemson, yes.
Right.
Correct.
And you're choosing the SEC team
that's not Alabama or Georgia.
Right.
Or LSU even. And you're choosing a Big Ten team that's not only not Ohio State, but is Michigan again?
Right.
Like everybody thinks last year was a one-off fluke. That's what I've heard.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Boy,
especially
would I love
with
to
how
phone.
loaded Ohio State looks heading into the year.
Correct.
Massive offense, big-time Heisman Trophy candidate.
And the fact that Michigan, that Harbaugh went to knock on the door of the Minnesota Vikings, or at least answer their knock on his door within 3 weeks of the national championship semifinal loss.
Yep.
And both coordinators gone, and both quarterbacks are getting to start in the first 2 weeks, and both edge rushers are gone, and Daxton Hill is gone. To choose Michigan to go back again under those circumstances would be significant, and oh my God, would that be amazing. And then I will show up to the jacket dinner like Scarface.
Testicular fortitude.
With the testicular fortitude of Scarface. Say hello to my little friend. Or I wouldn't say anything.
Wow.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No, you would not say anything, yeah.
Oh, boy. That's funny. And I love the people of Stark County, Ohio. They know that, too. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. All phone lines are lit, and so keep trying. We'll take some calls and unload them when we come back. And there's also something, I've called in the last hour talking about Serena and Pujols and from back in the day and doing well today still. I want to hit. Look at that picture. Fantastic. The first quarterback of my Michigan fandom, the coach of my team, the man who gave me the honor of representing the team as an honorary captain, and a man who would tell me to attack each day with an enthusiasm unknown to man, common man.
Yes, sir.
Who's got it better than me?
Nobody.
Jim Harbaugh's on the Rich Eisen Show, aren't you? You there, Jim?
I'm here, Rich. Happy birthday, Monday. 50th.
Big 5-0.
Wow, awesome.
Big 5-0.
I was supposed to be at your surprise party last Saturday night.
I heard that story, but you got caught up with being a family man, which is
yeah. I got my daughter's graduation party was that Saturday night. Her graduation was Thursday.
It's all good.
The party was Saturday, so I wasn't able to make it up.
You were
there. Fun? Was it a great time? Were you surprised?
I was. Well, you know what? It was a wonderful. But my friends from back home, from New York City, were there. I had buddies of mine from out here, and Mooch showed up, and Michael Irvin, Kurt Warner showed up. My buddy Marshall Falk, he couldn't make it because his family surprised him. It would have been great to have the old Colts backfield right there with you and him.
You weren't disappointed that I was.
Not at all. Not well. I mean, look, I would have loved to have had you because you're my coach. You're my guy. You're my guy. Are you going to have more honorary captains? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, we're still doing that.
Okay,
we're still doing it. We got
What do you got?
I think we're gonna have a good slate this year. It's gonna be good.
Anything you could spill? Any beans you could spill?
Make some announcements.
Yeah. What do you got? You got anything?
Yeah. We got. We're gonna honor the '69 team.
Okay. So that means Deerdorf comes back.
Deerdorf should
he's
be
already
back.
there. He'll be in the radio booth. So okay.
Yeah. Ty Law is going into the Hall of Fame.
Oh yes. Hey, look. If you need me to let them know how high the bar is set in terms of speechifying, you just give them my number. I'll tell them how high the bar is set, Jim. You know.
I mean that's. I will tell them that. I will let them know that. I'm gonna let them know. That's what we do. That's how we do it. You know. Listen, you're gonna be honorary captain. You got to talk to the team.
Yes.
You got to watch this. You got to watch this clip from Rich Eisen. This is how it's done. This is how you do it.
Hey Jim, thanks for calling in. Really means a lot. You are you're one of my all-time favorites for many reasons. So thanks for taking the time here in June.
Well, enjoy your continued 50th. This doesn't sound like it's just one day. It sounds like it's a Eisen Palooza. It goes on for weeks.
It is.
You got Monday, then you got the week off. So enjoy, buddy. You deserve it.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Thanks, Coach. You take care. That's Jim Harbaugh, my coach. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, Chris Brockman, TJ Jefferson, you guys choose the last player of this crazy-ass draft.
Did you just pick?
I did. I just made my last choice. I chose Jerick McKinnon of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Interesting.
All right.
I figure,
interesting.
I took two Chiefs at the end. I took him and Justin Watson because Stone Street told me to take him.
Interesting.
Yeah, there are no defenses left. I was going to take Zach Wilson. Somebody snagged him, too.
Yeah.
Crazy-ass league. It'll be great. 844-204-RICH, number to dial here on the program. Mike in Tulsa, Oklahoma has been hanging on for 2 hours. We'll take your call, Mike. What's going on, sir?
Hey, Rich, how's it going?
What's going on?
So I kind of want to talk about that Northwestern-Nebraska game that happened this last weekend.
Yeah.
We've been hearing all about the Scott Frost faux pas and the onside kick when they're up 11. I want to talk about how great Pat Fitzgerald really is and how well he coaches his guys.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that is severely undervalued in the Big Ten. He himself is undervalued in the Big Ten with all these great coaches there. And I feel like he just doesn't get enough love.
Well, I mean, David Shaw, who was on our program yesterday, Pat Fitzgerald would definitely be able to have a conversation with him because they both have constraints as to which players or who they can offer scholarships to and bring in. In some schools, the provost is a turnstile. Like, go ahead. You want them? Take them. In Northwestern and Stanford, the provost can kind of put up the stop sign and say that person is not academically viable for your football program. So he's got some constraints on him, but that's also a beautiful thing, as David Shaw said, that they can offer kids something on the back end of their lives that they don't get right now, which is a degree from Northwestern, which is what I have grad school. So I fully respect it and appreciate you wanting to even bring it up here on the program.
Absolutely. It's just like he elevates all of his players so much, and I feel like he just doesn't get enough love for it.
Appreciate the call. Thanks for the call. Hanging in there for as long to give some Pat Fitzgerald love. Northwestern with the win in Ireland, everybody. They're 1-0. Ohio State, Notre Dame is going to be big this weekend. 2 versus 5.
Huge.
And the team that's second ranked is favored by
17.5.
2.5 scores?
17.5. Here's what you're going to do, Rich. You're going to tease that down to 11.5.
What do you mean?
Because you feel comfortable.
What are you going to say? Words
Ohio
to it to
State
tease it?
Probably winning by at least 2 touchdowns.
I don't understand what that means.
You want to rule out that late field goal, the little, sneak back door. You want to rule that out. Tease it down on the 11.5.
How does one tease something down?
You got to tease it with another game.
Tease it.
So you got to take two games together.
Who came up with the phrase teasing? What is it? Why do we call it teasing?
It's probably Mo Green, to be honest.
Okay. Appreciate that update.
No problem. Tease it with Georgia, too, while you're at it.
Bradley in Baltimore, you're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Bradley?
Hey, thanks for having me. I wanted to talk about basically how poorly the Trey Lance situation has gone for the 49ers. Because basically you got to look at it as they traded 3 first-round picks for him, And the Rams, to get Stafford and Von Miller, which they probably wouldn't have won without, traded 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick.
No, I understand, but look, last year they didn't have to throw him in there. And that's to a team's benefit, to be able to allow him whatever seasoning they think is required of him. Now, you could sit here and say, Mac Jones didn't require that, and you didn't choose him. You chose the other one. And you could sit here and say Justin Fields needed it and didn't get it, and that didn't really work out for him or his coach. So the Niners did the right thing. You got 2 examples of the quarterbacks that they left on the draft board that have different scenarios, and which is why they did what they did, because not only did they think it helped the player, but they also had a situation where they could do it. And the guy that they started was terrific and then decided to turn away from him. And had he been healthy, he had already been on another team. But he wasn't healthy, and the situation came up where they couldn't trade him. They were going to have to cut him. And if he wound up on another team in their division, that wouldn't help them. And now they have kept him. And as I started the show, the issue is it now brings doubt upon the kid that they wanted to have season. That's the issue. So I don't think it's a total disaster yet. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for the call.
Taking my call.
Appreciate it. There you go. I think that's the approach to take. There might be some saying, well, Jimmy G's here and Lance sucks. And if he didn't suck, Jimmy G would have been gone. Well, Jimmy G would have been gone if he was healthy. That's a fact. They'd have traded him away, and that would have been it, and they would have used the draft choice in the draft. Yeah. Over. They would have already, that draft choice would have already been acquired and turned in for a human being that would be on their roster right now, not named Jimmy Garoppolo, and would cost a hell of a lot less than $6.5 million. As I said, Belichick had a chance to take his rookie quarterback, put him in right away because he was most game ready, more than Trey Lance. The Niners went with the kid who wasn't game ready because they knew he didn't have to play a game. As a matter of fact, Trey Lance, let's not forget, threw the first touchdown pass of the season for the 49ers last year. The idea was to put him in. And last year going into the Niners season, the question was, how are they going to do it with Garoppolo? What, around the 15-yard line? They're going to take him out and put the other kid in? How's Garoppolo going to handle that? And then the kid did come in and throw first touchdown pass of the season. They won the game, and nobody was going out there thinking what a mess the quarterback situation is because it was 1-0. And they decided after a while, not workable to do this. Better to just keep Jimmy in the whole game.
Right.
And then Lance got a shot, didn't look all that terrific. When's Jimmy coming back? Because the kid wasn't ready. Now they decide to turn everything over to him, and Garoppolo, it's better for them to keep him if they can make sure Lance can handle it and they can handle the situation within the locker room. I find it odd, I'm not going to lie, because there is an issue with Lance. If they thought that Garoppolo wasn't helpful for being around entirely, they'd have got rid of him. It's odd, but if there's any coach and general manager who can handle it, it's these two. And if there's any coach and general manager that could survive it if they're wrong about it, it's these two. So might as well do it. Better than seeing him in week 2 starting for Seattle against you, I guess. Let's go to Austin and Napa Valley. Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. You send some down.
I love
here,
saying the
Austin.
words. What's going on there, Austin? How are the grapes? Austin?
We're doing great. We're started harvest already here, Rich. We're pretty excited about it. Well, Rich, TJ, Brockman, Jay, I love your guys' show.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone make it up to Napa Valley. I'd love to roll up red carpet for you anytime.
Oh, my God. What are you, a cab guy? What are you? What are you, a blend? What are you got? What are you?
Yeah, I work for an ultra-premium Cabernet producer called Toledo Walker, Colt Cabernet, really small stuff. And speaking of Coach Arians with heart health, I'd be delighted to send you guys a little sampler pack of wines to make your cardiologist happy this afternoon.
Okay. Brockman wants free wine. So what you're saying to me, off camera, get free wine? Is that what you want?
Yeah, like free wine. I mean, yeah.
I mean, we've just met this gentleman. What do
He just told us to come up and hang out.
That's
so,
different than saying I'll send you something free.
All
right.
Okay.
Sure. Sorry, Austin.
Austin, what's on your mind? I didn't mean for Brockman to get in your pocket like that so quickly.
No, we're rich in wine, so we got plenty of wine. We could send you guys some samplers. So, as really congratulations on a great interview with Desmond Howard. As a Buckeye, it's hard to have him be so charismatic and just a wealth of knowledge. And now I have to rename my fantasy team Testicular Fortitude.
That's a great one. Did you write it down, Chris? Did you write it down?
Rich, we have too many.
Okay, got it.
We need to choose.
The shop's closed?
Oh, my God. Shop's closed.
I know.
Year.
I think Rudd's coming on next week to help us choose.
To figure this out.
Go for it, sir. Austin.
Yeah, and you hit on. I'll call them. I'm a huge 49er fan, and you hit on all the major points. And I do agree that Kyle can manage the situation. And I think the major reason for keeping Jimmy is to buy time to extend his trade options till November 1st. If another, as he's an asset, if another QB goes down, and like you mentioned, he has a good insurance policy, and he does know Kyle's system, which took a long time to learn. If he had to sit 5 games after he was traded from New England. And as a friend of your show, Albert Breer, mentioned, I thought it was really wise that I think Lynch and Kyle likely had to consult with the roster leaders on the team to ensure that, Trey still is the unequivocal number one. And, Albert also mentioned that Trey is now making more base salary than Jimmy. So I think those are just some things that I think, are something to think about in the situation. And thanks for taking my call, guys, and go Buckeyes.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was a great call right up to the end.
Yeah. Should have cut him earlier.
It's okay. I appreciate that. He consumes the show. Like the tent's big enough for Buckeye fans to like us. I mean, most, Michigan players, many of them come from Ohio, and the number of Buckeye fans I run into know so many Michigan. There's tons of Michigan fans in Ohio, so I get it. I mean, I think we've covered this story today. I mean, there's no question about it.
No question.
Just I thought it's Lance's team. If it's Lance's team, then why is Jimmy Garoppolo still on it? Because it was Jimmy's team for a while. Now it's no longer Jimmy's team. It's Trey's team. And normally when that happens, you get rid of the guy whose team it used to be.
Texans just released Marlon Mack.
Yeah, I almost grabbed him at the end.
Wow.
But that's Dameon Pierce's doing
Dameon
right
Pierce
there.
season.
That's Dameon
Houston.
Pierce's doing right there.
Wow.
There's a new running back in Houston, and it's that kid. Any other cuts of note right there?
Nothing super surprising as of yet.
All right, when we come back, what's old is new again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's old has kids doing well again? So what's going on? It's crazy what's going on in the sports world. I don't recall anything else like
really
it.
Wild. Yeah.
We'll kind of hit we'll hit on that a little bit more when we come back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Back here on the program, 844-204-RICH being the number to dial over there. So who did you choose to finish up the draft?
Oh, we haven't. We were still discussing.
Did you see the Saints cut Ian Book?
Yeah, did see that.
And remember he was drafted, everyone's like, he's got the same comp, height, weight as Drew Brees. Now
Can't beat out Andy Dalton.
Well, it's not just that, too. It's the coach who drafted him, who thought I can do something with him. Yeah. Gone. Boy, the practice squads are going to be formed, and then we're going to go. We're going. Going.
Go time.
Maybe Ian Book could wind up with the Cowboys, right? They need a backup quarterback.
Apparently.
What have the Cowboys said about going with one guy right now?
They have.
I haven't seen anything said.
I think what the deal is
what is the deal?
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just trying to think why that is. Like, I think if you put a guy on the PUP list, right, they have to be on the original 53-man roster. So I know, like, James Washington, Tyron Smith, I think they want to have them on the roster, then they're able to PUP them and then maybe bring a quarterback in. I don't know. I'm just trying to
bring them back.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. I really don't understand.
So these are roster maneuvers.
Right.
You have guys much smarter than me
So
when it comes to this. I would
Ian
think so,
said
yeah.
the intent is to re-sign Cooper Rush.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Man, I thought Will Grier was going to be good.
But he's gonna be some. But I mean, who's going to grab him? I guess that's what you figure, right? Somebody's not going to just grab a quarterback just to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're a Jimmy G situation.
I mean, if you're the Seahawks, do you grab him?
No, I think you're pretty good.
Who's a Seahawks room? Who's in there with him?
The Cowboys also cut their kicker.
Yeah, but he's coming back though.
It's a strategic roster shuffle. Is what they're doing. Someone exploit this and sign this guy.
I'm pretty sure everyone else has got their kickers.
That's right. Jacob Eason, Drew Lock, Geno Smith. Man.
The Cowboys cut their kicker and long snapper.
Who's left there, by the way? Do we know? Who's left? Kicker, long snapper?
I don't understand.
What are they
Is
doing?
Dak going to do it all? Dak's going to be the quarterback. He's going to be the backup. He's going to be the kicker and the long snapper.
It's
like that Bugs Bunny cartoon. It's like first base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny. Be Dak Prescott. Now kicking, Dak Prescott. Now snapping and then kicking to himself, Dak Prescott.
He's a bad man if he could do all that.
No, so that basically there's so many injured players, they just got to cut them all, get the other guys on, pup them, and then re-sign them back.
That's just my theory.
Right. I mean, that is.
I think that's probably what is happening.
Yeah.
Great theory.
What do I know, Rich? I don't know.
Yeah.
Back here on the Rich Eisen Show, 844-204-RICH, number to dial.
Say that's weird.
So, Albert Pujols has been on such fire. Cooper and I picked him up in our fantasy league. He was available. We picked him up because he was homering quite a bit.
Yep.
Last night he hit 694. Earlier in the day, as Albert Pujols hit 694 for the St. Louis Cardinals. Earlier in the day, Serena Williams, in her final U.S. Open, she won her first round match. And that got some people to thinking. Because, let me check here. It's on my phone. It's 2022.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And it got some people to thinking. When was the last time Serena won a U.S. Open match and Albert Pujols homered on the same day? And then somebody puts 2 and 3 others together that for the Blue Jays last night, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Kevin Biggio and Bo Bichette also had a hit. On August 29th, 2001, how about this? 21 years ago yesterday, Serena Williams won at the U.S. Open. Pujols hit a home run, and Vlad Guerrero Sr., Craig Biggio, and Dante Bichette, in other words, Kevin and Bo's dads, they also had a hit. 21 years apart on the same date.
That is so wild.
So Vlad Sr., Craig Biggio, and Dante Bichette, their children got hits 21 years later, the day that they did, and on the same date, the very same Serena Williams and Albert Pujols won at the U.S. Open and homered in a Major League Baseball game. It's nuts. And we're also seeing LeBron at the top of his game, getting set to play another season with the Lakers, who's owner, by the way, apparently said in an interview that Russell Westbrook was the best player on the Lakers last year. Look that one up. And Tom Brady is getting set for year 95 for him. And I just thought to myself, let's just flash forward to 21 years from now. Is there anybody who's doing anything right now going to do the same thing that we saw yesterday? Because LeBron back in 01 was in high school, right?
Yeah, in 01 he was in high school.
Yeah, Stuart Scott and I were doing his SportsCenter highlights.
He was a junior in 2001.
And then in 2001, Tom Brady on that date, August 29th, 2001, was just that kid that they drafted in the 6th round the year before that was coming off of a terrific training camp and preseason that got the Patriots and some of their veterans looking at him saying, okay, the kid's got something. And then who knew 2 games into the season they would need him.
We actually looked it up. In 2001, today,
Yes.
August 30th, he threw a touchdown pass against Washington.
In a preseason game.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady is now the GOAT who doesn't need long to remember how to play football again, as he said yesterday or over the weekend.
Yeah.
You want to take a crack at it? TJ Jefferson, 21 years from now?
21 years
21 years from now, who that's in the sports world right now is going to perform?
So 2043.
Oh, my God. That freaks me out when I think about that stuff.
Wow. Okay, 2043.
I hope to have a lot of S going on.
I hope we're still around.
Yeah. To have a lot of S going on.
Yeah. 2043, let's take a look at, I think, 38, maybe 39-year-old quarterback who is probably coming off of his 4th or 5th MVP and his
Joe Burrow?
3rd or 4th Super Bowl win. And that is my man who's going to help buy me a boat because, I've been already investing in his rookie cards. That would be Arch Manning.
Come on.
Dominating in the year 2043, his 5th MVP, his 4th Super Bowl, and there's no signs of Arch slowing down in the year 2043.
That's amazing.
Love it. And by the way, I'll be on the boat because I invested all my money in his early football cards. So,
Of course.
Ken Golden will just be paying me some straight cash.
Jeez.
Is that what? Are you really investing in his cards?
Were you not here
He
when
does. Well, that might have been over the summer when Rich was gone. But
yeah.
He's got a few.
I bought a few Arch
bought a
cards
few.
last year and this year.
He went on the old eBay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not.
See, that's your retirement plan? He's Arch Manning cards?
Arch Manning football cards.
What are you, rookie? He's not even a rookie anywhere yet.
He's in high school.
He's
still.
in high school. That's even better.
He's literally a junior in high
I guess
school.
21 years ago, somebody would be saying.
Yeah, imagine if you had a LeBron card from 2001 from St. Vincent, St. Mary.
I have that Sports Illustrated somewhere.
You want to take a crack at it, Chris?
Sure, Rich. Speaking of LeBron there, TJ.
Oh, here we go.
Everyone knows LeBron wants to play with his oldest son, Bronny.
Yes.
I'm going to say it's not going to be Bronny. It's going to be LeBron's youngest son, the middle child, who's currently 15. Bryce James will be 36 years old.
Look at that handle right there. Just like his dad shoving off the defender.
Winning his 3rd title, going for the 4th to match his dad.
It's a beautiful kid.
Bryce James is going to be a baller.
Bryce. Love it.
By the way, that's a smart play right there because, again, in 2001, when I was on SportsCenter, I remember sitting there talking to Stuart at some point and others as well. We would have these conversations about Venus. Venus was the Williams sister that was going to be the game changer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was Serena. The question was, okay, good luck to her filling her sister's shoes. And, okay. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, why not?
The banner has been hung. So that's interesting that you choose the younger sibling.
Yeah,
right
I'm going Bryce
Okay.
James.
I'm going to go another child of a superstar player right now.
Okay.
But the child doesn't exist. 21 years from now, the currently unborn child of Aaron Judge. I don't know if you have a photograph, but the unborn child of Aaron Judge. Aaron,
The unborn.
Get to work, sir.
Get to work. Get baskets.
The unborn child of Aaron Judge, whoever he or she is going to be, will dominate.
I think we got some more.
Their world.
I got another one.
I got one. And I think Chris
Judge,
got one.
man. Aaron Judge.
I'll tell you what, Rich. Charlie Woods is going to be walking down Augusta.
Okay, that's
right.
It. That's
Come on, that's mandatory.
That's the end of it, right?
Because he'll be what? He'll be 34 in 2043.
I just love how we're going with kids of the current.
Why not?
Because I guess in 2001 we were going to get, like, by the way, Dante Bichette's
right
kid.
now, how would we have known?
You could have guessed Vlad Sr., right? It was fun the other day because Cooper was looking at some YouTube videos of like the billion to one shot highlights, and there was a highlight of a base hit Vlad Sr. had that he hit off of a dirted.
The one that hit the ground, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
a dirted. I guess somebody dirted a pitch, and it hit a foot in front of the plate, and he hit it off the bounce into left center field.
Yeah, he swung anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Coop not to do that in the Little League.
But I told him, I'm like, that's like Vlad Sr. was the best bad ball hitter I have ever seen.
And he didn't wear batting gloves. It was amazing.
So it's funny. So you're going Charlie Woods.
I'll go Bob.
You're going
Bryce. I'll go Charlie.
Bryce James. Charlie Woods. You're going Arch Manning. I'm going with a twinkle in the eye.
I got another one though. I think you might like. Because we're always talking about, the sons of these athletes. But I got something for you here.
What do you got?
2043, in her third year in the WNBA coming out of USC, she just wins the most valuable player of the WNBA and leads the LA Sparks to a championship. And that is the baby daughter of Kobe Bryant, Capri Bryant. Let's see her grow up and accomplish what unfortunately Gigi couldn't do and watch Capri go.
That's a beautiful thought.
I hope that happens, man.
Beautiful thought.
That would be a beautiful thing.
FedEx Cup playoffs. Cage Brockman versus Charlie Woods. Coming down 18.
Here you go.
There's a big age discrepancy there too. Like Charlie would be like the old man compared to Cage.
And what would
be like 23?
What would the dad on dad chat be like as they're coming up the fairway?
Just me and Tiger in a golf cart.
What would you talk about? What would you talk about?
Basically, it would be the Chris Farley show. It'd be like, remember that time? And then you won the Masters, and then you shifted it. That was awesome, man. I was crying on my couch.
Meanwhile, Tiger's looking at this other guy, this masshole, thinking, were you at a Holiday Inn Express last night? How'd you get here? What? Who's this masshole?
That was awesome.
Nobody's choosing a current player right now. What about Joe Burrow 21 years from now?
Current players. He's already 24.
What I'm just saying.
How about Juan Soto going for his 800th home run?
Julio Rodriguez?
Why not?
On his new contract, his 6-year contract extension?
Justin Verlander's still pitching.
He just was put on the IL today.
I saw that.
I don't know. How about Joe Burrow playing at age 45? He could do it.
Why not? Why not?
Living out he is Tom Brady reincarnate.
I mean, Zach Wilson's basically a high schooler right now.
44-year-old Brett Beatty
finally being with someone his age.
How to say it? I'm sorry. 44-year-old Brett Beatty leading the Mets to another World Series.
Brett
guys,
Beatty. He does look like a child. Like, do they card him before he goes to the plate, or
he's
what?
22 and he looks 17.
I looked at him. Oh my god. Oh my god. He looks like a baby.
He'll be 44 at that point, I believe. That's.
This is the equivalent of what we're seeing right now. It's nuts. What we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's pretty
crazy talk.
Pretty nuts. What about Deuce, Jason Tatum's son?
Right?
Deuce could be out there.
Here we go.
I mean, oh man, the possibilities are endless.
It's fun stuff. Good conversation, James. Fun stuff. Okay, that'll wrap it up for this edition of the program. I want to thank Kurt Warner, Bruce Arians, and my BFF, Desmond Howard. That is my guy.
That's your man in him.
And how about him starting by say it with your chest? Oh, baby. What a delight.
That's my man right there.
Thank you very much. Staten Island's own.
Wu-Tang.
That's me.
That is true.
Thank you.
You need a Wu-Tang name. I'm going to put your name through the generator.
The Wu-Tang generator?
Yeah. Is there such a thing?
Oh, of course
for sure there is.
Yeah.
Oh, let's figure that out.
We'll do that right now. We'll give it to you tomorrow.
We'll give it to the radio folks tomorrow, but we're gonna instantly gratify our YouTube streamers. We will chat with you on this show on Wednesday tomorrow. All right, what did you got? Did you put it in there?
Twinkly Wildcat. That's yours.
See, I got, what did you put in? Rich Eisen?
Yeah, Rich
See,
Eisen.
I got Sinister Wanderer.
Did you put Richard Eisen?
I put Rich.
Oh, I found a different one, though. Which site are you using?
Twinkly what?
Wu-Tang.
WuTangClan.net.
Yeah, WuTangClan.net. That's what I got. Hold on, let me do my own.
All right, well,
I'm going to put
TJ's was much better.
What was it?
No, whatever.
Oh, what was it?
The Sinister Wanderer.
Yeah,
I'd rather be that than Twinkle Cat. What is
Twinkly,
that?
whatever.
Twinkle Toes?
Yeah, you can't walk down the streets of Shaolin with
and
that
the whole
name,
thing
bro.
with the YouTube stream and the YouTube
Undue Mercenary. That's
That's dope.
That was pretty good.
I put in Richard Eisen and got Sinister Desperado.
Oh, that one is sick.
That's ill.
nice.
I am the Sinister Desperado. Okay.
That's how Donald Glover got
Very,
Childish
very good.
Gambino. He put it in the Wu-Tang generator.
All right, let's just get out of here. I want to go home and celebrate my daughter's
buddy.
birthday with her. It's
Wrap
Taylor,
it up.
Taylor Mattingly Eisen turns 9 years old today.
Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark.
That's my girl. That is amazing. By the way, that was on a tablet. Recorded that on a tablet at a hotel in Florence, Italy, that we kept on the tablet. So there's a room in this hotel in Florence, Italy, where people can listen to my daughter sing "Baby Shark" forevermore. I left it on that tablet, but I did send it to me first. She gets very upset when that gets played. So
Tell her I said sorry.
it's okay, Jason.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Happy birthday, Taylor.
Thanks, brother.
Amazing.
Appreciate that.
That's awesome.
We're off and running here on this program. We will see you back here on our YouTube stream here on Odyssey as well on Wednesday.